First hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Stats Norsworthy.
Beautiful morning.
It is a Monday, July 18, 2022 edition of Sportstime on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats, and we are live. You know about it. We are live from SEC Media Days in Atlanta, day one, and we have a host of sponsors for our trip here. And honestly, the car ride was fantastic. Car ride was easy on the way in. But First National Bank and Trust, Landers, Ford and Collierville, Jason's Deli, Mossy Oak Golf Club, Memphis Tourism, Ronnie Grisani's, Gould's, Belly Acres, the Commissary Golf Sticks, Pretzels, and Quick Close Sell. We just love their fantastic support in getting us here and supporting us the whole time. I am former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn on Twitter at G_Kuhn71. Producing the program back in the Family Leisure Studios in Memphis, Tennessee is Bryant Dacus on Twitter at Bryant_Dacus. And my partner does pre and post for the Ole Miss Football Radio Network. He is Brett Stats Norsworthy on Twitter at Brett Norsworthy. Brett, what's happening?
It's going great, Gabe, and I can't believe that you were never one of the Tiger players at AAC.
Isn't that why? And I never got to get to the clam bake. Never got to get any of that.
I was disappointed.
And they used to.
Somebody asked you that today, and I don't remember who. And
first time you learned that was the case, huh?
I would have thought for sure, especially as an upperclassman, you would have been one taken.
Yeah, I wish. I would have taken advantage of the clam bake.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not a big clam guy, though.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
But that looks fun.
Yeah. This
Always
is, I'll say this, and I think it's obvious. SEC Media Days, the ambiance, the sort of lore that's around it trumps AAC Media Days by a lot. It's been a good time so far today.
Well, they've done it for a long time, and they know what they're doing. And here at the College Football Hall of Fame, literally we're across from a display case of Archie Griffin's number 45 at Ohio State, and Glenn Davis is number 41.
I already tripped around a few times.
It's good stuff to see. You saw the Tigers helmet lit up down in the lobby with all the helmets. But today it has been a good day. We've got a lot of great guests coming your way, and it's going to be football loaded, football centered today. But we do have some accolades to pay.
Some accolades.
And to acknowledge to Bryant Dacus.
Oh,
yes, sir.
Don't we off the top? Off the top, Cam Smith, big winner at the Open Championship. Bryant,
big win.
Two big winners.
Unreal.
And you win at the Barracuda with your shot pick, and you go double.
Let's go.
And I had a bad week. Bryant, well done.
Thank
Way
you,
to go,
thank you,
Brian.
thank
You're
you.
in first place now.
What
Shout
a jump.
out. It's a heck of a jump.
Meteoric.
And
rise.
guess
told y'all it wasn't over.
Well, you know who's dead last too is yours truly.
But that's not over either because we still got one more double.
It's over. We don't have a major left.
We got one more double in Memphis. We always pay double in Memphis.
Right.
And those tour playoff events are such big money and are all no cut.
Right. But my picks just haven't been up to snuff. That's the case. It's tough for me. It's been tough sledding. I've been riding Colin Morikawa the whole season. It's kind of.
It was payback for you for edging me by one last year on the college football picks.
Was it by
on
one?
On the bowl picks, yeah.
Okay. Well, first out of our show is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis. Brett already mentioned it. We have wall-to-wall SEC Media Days coverage. LSU, Ole Miss, Mizzou today. It looks like Eli Drinkwitz just stepped to the podium to deal with all of the press questions. We will also have plenty on them, as well as Commissioner Greg Sankey, who led off the day in, Brett, what would you say, an incredibly confident but measured way. Very confident.
I got that prediction right with Greg and Eli this morning. I said, it almost felt, I didn't know anything. Nobody ran anything by me. I'm not trying to allude to that. But it felt like I just had that sense, make no news.
But he still made news just because of who he is and what and the questions he's getting. But the confidence he has now, as opposed to maybe when he took over 4 or 5 years ago, it's astounding and it's noticeable.
And with anything, you get better with time. You want to be a great dancer, dance a lot. And he's gotten better, but he really finally got out of the shadow of the late, great Mike Slive that left seemingly impossible shoes to fill. He got out of it during summer of COVID 2 years ago at this time when the Ivy League wasn't going to play, the Big Ten wasn't going to play. Who was going to play? And he stepped forward and said, SEC's playing and everybody else better, or we will not come back to a sport and be able to recognize it.
And if I was him, too, I'd have confidence in what I was putting out. It's just the truth of it. I mean, I know where I am if I'm Greg Sankey in the power structure of college football. It's not hidden. Everyone knows where Greg Sankey is right now.
He's got to fill that power vacuum.
Absolutely. And I would say number one right now as far as power in college football.
And we will have him live at the desk with us tomorrow
at
4:30 Central.
And I, like I said, confident but measured way. Certainly tried to get to the point as best as he could. We will discuss that, and we'll have some sound from him from his introductory today at about 5:30. We do have a couple of MLB notes to get to. MLB draft was last night. Made history. First two picks, sons of former players. Jackson Holliday, son of Matt Holliday. Shout out to the Cardinals. He was a great Cardinal. He really was. He did a fantastic job. And also, we have Drew Jones going number 2, son of Andrew Jones. We have the Home Run Derby tonight, the All-Star Game tomorrow. Also, another shout-out. We have to give another shout-out to Bryant for what he did. Cam Smith winning the Open Championship 4 strokes down on a Sunday. To come back the way he did, that was something, and his putter was working.
And spectacular finish at the Open Championship at St. Andrews. Conditions were benign. It was there for the taking for the golf course. If the wind doesn't blow there, it's very gettable, and it was gotten by a lot of people. But low man wins, and low man was Cameron Smith with that mullet.
He made a huge fan out of me too. Did you see his comments after?
I did.
I'm going to see how many beers fit in this thing. And then they talked about it.
Go
they
ask
said,
John Daly.
They said 2 fit in there. He said, "Well, I'm going to have 20 claret jugs tonight."
That's great.
My gosh,
it was fun. It was good stuff for us to listen to on the way down in the official car of SEC Media Days. That car from Landers Ford in Collierville. It was a great ride down. Thank you so much. And it was fun to do that yesterday. And we know this college football season is going to be fun to enjoy FanDuel. We've hit the halfway point of the baseball season, and you can turn big hits into dingers, into big wins with FanDuel Sportsbook before the Midsummer Classic. Right now, new customers can step up to the plate with a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Sign up using promo code CASH and place that first bet, and FanDuel will give you up to $1,000 back in free bets if you don't win. Tonight, during the Home Run Derby, will it be Pete Alonso, Juan Soto, who just turned down 440? Is that a sane man out there? Or Albert Pujols for old time's sake for the Cardinals? Let's have Albert have a big night. Or to win the All-Star game tomorrow night. I always take the National League. Of course, I'm going to go with the senior circuit tomorrow night. No better place to bet America's pastime than on America's #1 sports book. That's at FanDuel. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using promo code CASH to get started with your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Now, I have to lay out the day, and we are just jam-packed. We are going to catch up with a lot of people today. Like I said at the beginning of the show, Mizzou, Ole Miss, and LSU were today. They brought their players in, coaches. Well, Eli Drinkwitz is the last one left. He's the only one who hasn't fully gotten through his presser. But they were all today. So we're going to have, at 3:30, Dave Matter from Mizzou Athletics, sort of the reporter there for the STL Post-Dispatch. We're going to have him at 3:30. 3:45, we bring on Laura Rutledge. It was great to catch up with Laura from ESPN. 4 o'clock, David Kopp joins us from CBS Sports. And we will talk about college football and maybe a little bit of college basketball as well. 4:30, T-Bob Hebert joins us, 104.5 ESPN in Baton Rouge. Right after that, we will talk about Brian Kelly, and we'll play some sound to talk about his fit. That's come into discussion a whole lot through the offseason and what his fit is in Baton Rouge. Also, he had an interesting quote about his previous stop, Notre Dame, and what is to come with their potential conference alignment. 5 o'clock, we talk to Ole Miss side of things with Richard Cross from Super Talk Mississippi, and he's from the Ole Miss Radio Network. Does some good work with Brett as well.
I know him pretty
him pretty well.
He carries me.
It's crazy though. I meant to say this. As much as you've talked about Richard, and I've heard Richard's name, meeting him for the first time today, that was crazy.
Richard's a good man.
I couldn't believe it was the first time I had met him.
We have so much fun together out on the games. I mean, the conversations, and the Friday nights are a lot of fun.
5:30, we bring up that Greg Sankey sound from his introductory press conference, and we have some things to discuss there. 5:45, we get out with Taco Bell Crunch Time, and AutoZone Listen Line, 901-360-8255. Get in touch with us. Questions, comments, concerns, text us. Also watch us live and message us on our socials, Sports 56 WHBQ, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and go to our website, sports56whbq.com.
As Gabe said, hit us up at 901-360-8255. Get in the zone at AutoZone, at the text line, at the phone line. We would love your interaction. And maybe, like, for the days ahead, what you would like for us maybe to ask the guests that we're going to have today or into tomorrow when it's Alabama, Mississippi State, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt. Poor Clark Lee. He's got a tough challenge tomorrow to follow Coach Nick Saban, Mike Leach, and Shane Beamer. More in the afternoon. We'll hear from them. We'll talk to all of them and all the newsmakers here at SEC Media Days. That's tomorrow, but we've got a lot to do between now and 6 o'clock tonight, and we'll be watching the Home Run Derby tonight as well. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2022 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway. Put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Now, we have a bunch of SEC Media Days talk. We have a bunch of college football to discuss as the day goes on. So I'm going to top and not top. I'm going to try to stay away from those news drops, although there's been a bunch. But top story of the day for me, Cam Smith, 64 in his final round, wins the Open Championship at 20 under, 5 birdies in a row to start the back 9, was 4 strokes down going into Sunday. It's his 8th pro win. First major, and just to see what he did.
Third this year.
What he did was unreal. I mean, it just that 80-footer on 18 that he left right there close to give him a tap in.
At some point, don't we need to measure that in yards? If you get so far out in feet,
I think so.
I think we need to go yards at some point.
But you could have got a pretty substantial yardage on that.
He wins the first event of the calendar year at Kapalua. He wins at the Players, joins only Jack Nicklaus to win Players and Open Championship in the same year, and to come back against the fan favorite, the gallery favorite with Rory, it was impressive.
And his best finish previously in a major was only tied second at the 2020 Masters, and he made a massive fan. I mean, the mustache is fantastic. He comes out there with some swag. Always has a nice hat on. But in the mullet, I should have mentioned the mullet. Should have led with that, buried the lead on that, but. Him talking about drinking beer out of the claret jug was fun for me, and he definitely showed the side of him that a lot of people wanted to see. Also, Tiger cut at +9, and we talked about this, Brian and I, on Friday, but it was tough seeing that happen.
It was tough to see it happen. We wonder if we'll ever see him there again next time in 2026 at St. Andrews. You also even wonder if you'll see him next year in 2023. Gabe, I don't know that I'm that proud of this, but I did see it. I saw his only Sunday round of the year, the Sunday at Augusta National, and it was hard to watch. It was a little rueful.
And the crying on Friday, him coming off the 18th green,
it got to him.
His last Open,
and I thought
at St. Andrews, that was tough to watch too.
Maybe the quote of the year and underselling of the year is when he says, I don't get that emotional. We've really never seen that much from Tiger.
Not really.
All the stuff on or off the court, we've never seen that side. But I think he's knowing he sees the finish line.
Yep.
My top story, I'm going to stay right here with it. Greg Sankey says 16 is enough for the SEC, and that's enough until it isn't. Let Notre Dame call. And then when Notre Dame calls, you're going to want to keep it on an even number. And then that brings in a host of people, FSU, Clemson, UVA, North Carolina, Virginia Tech. But with Notre Dame, if they call, you take that call. And he sure takes it from his good friend, the athletics director at Notre Dame. But for right now, in this crazy summer that we thought was the whole world was going to change a few weeks ago, it feels like 16 is enough. We haven't even played the first year of it being at 16. Really barely getting, but well, we've gotten them comfortable. Mizzou and A&M, came in 2012. Arkansas and South Carolina, Gabe, I can remember talking about it the summer of '92 or the fall of '92, their first year in the SEC. Now they're starting year 31.
How about that?
It's hard to believe. And we're going to get to Texas and OU when? Well, we know summer of 2025.
Yep, that's what he had to say.
It feels like it's going to be before that.
We'll see. We'll see. Hey, there was clarity there, and we'll play that time later. There's clarity there, but a lot of things could happen between now and then.
And again,
also,
we have Greg Sankey tomorrow at 4:30.
I think his exact quote, though, on 16 and where they're at right now, he just said there's no sense of urgency in expanding past 16. It's not that we're stuck there. It's just that right this second, we're fine.
And I hate to be so nitpicky, but there's never urgency until there's urgency, until somebody makes a move. USC and UCLA necessitated a lot of urgency out there.
But for the SEC, did they? Not yet. Not a crazy amount. SEC is still on great footing. And, again, I go back to what we talked about to open the show. Greg Sankey showed that. I mean, he portrayed that.
Oh, he's Star Commissar of college football.
Mm-hmm. Not top story of the day.
Not top story of the day for me. And listen, I understand in the MLB draft we had some historical things happen.
Holiday Jones rocker.
Jackson Holiday goes to the Orioles at 1. Matt Holliday's son. The Diamondbacks take Drew Jones, Andrew Jones' son. And by the way, Andrew Jones played for 17 years? He was almost to 20. He almost got to 20.
Gabe, I reminded you watching him as an 18-year-old hit 2 home runs in Game 1 of the World Series at Yankee Stadium.
And then Kumar Rocker, shout out to the Tri-City Valley Cats. Him and Jack Leiter are actually going to be back together. He gets drafted by the Rangers 3rd overall. Hopefully it works out for him.
So no pitching this fall in October baseball for him, does
I don't think so. But overall, there was 4 different first-round draft picks with former MLB dads: Jackson Holiday, Drew Jones, Justin Crawford, Carl Crawford's son, and then Cam Collier, Lou Collier's son. But overall, the reason it's my not top story is I'm sitting here, and I'm in my room last night, and I'm trying to find something good to watch. I'm trying to find something that really grabs my attention. And seeing Rob Manfred up there saying that the blank have the next pick, the Diamondbacks have the next pick, and they have the knockoff version of the NFL sounder when the pick is in. It was basically trying to copy the first round of the NFL draft, but change a few answers, change a few things so it's not obvious, and it just does not bring me in. It's not good.
It feels authentic with it.
And it's disappointing to see the MLB in that on that stage trying to get something done. Rob Manfred, it just does not seem legitimate. He just never has gotten it to where he thought he could get it.
And it feels like Matt Holliday was playing for the Cardinals 10 weeks ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And now has the son, number 1 overall pick. Second pick, I mentioned the World Series with Andrew Jones. Now his son, and for Kumar Rocker, that story, really a survivor story back from last year's embarrassment when the Mets kind of
spurned him.
Yeah, certainly spurned him. Welched on the deal a little bit with him, and fun to see all those guys getting drafted. When does young Holiday make it to the show?
Ooh,
18.
Great question.
Stillwater High.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know enough about my man Jackson Holiday.
And you know what they're expecting of him in Baltimore?
A lot.
Be the next Cal Ripken. How impossible is that?
That's a hell of an expectation.
How impossible is that? My not top story. The sea change in college football that we thought was happening on Thursday, June 30th, that really hadn't happened. We by that day, we felt like by the time we got here, the SEC may be at 18,
right,
20, 24. The rest of college football would be totally realigned. No, so far it's just been that earthquake from that day, USC and UCLA. A lot of really good questions asked today, and I thought Lane Kiffin had some insight on both of those, USC and UCLA, having coached at USC and coached in that rivalry against crosstown rival in Westwood, UCLA, and the travel issues that they would have. He talked about how tough it was for that annual road trip for SC to play Notre Dame in October, that they would go out 2 days early for that to Indiana.
Right.
What are you going to do when you go to State College? What are you going to do when you go to Piscataway? What are you going to do when you go to Maryland? And the NCAA, they'll give you you have to ask for it. They'll give you a variance of 2 days for travel like that. Ole Miss got it to go to Fresno and to Berkeley to play Cal.
Right.
But they don't like to do it. Will they even be the boss then?
And it's interesting, too. And, for most schools, like the University of Memphis, the affordability wasn't there. You just stayed there for one night. I remember going out to UCLA, and I wish I could have had 2 days to stay there. But a lot of folks may not want to spend that extra money, and that's just sort of how it works. But that'll do it for Top and Not Top Story today. There are a lot of people today that say they will buy your home. There's one company that follows through every single time. When you want to make a deal for real money, go with the real deal guys who will make you money. Go with Quick Close Sell Memphis. Quick Close Sell will respect you with a solid offer. No matter the property, no matter the situation, Quick Close Sell will pay a fair price quickly and easily. For no obligation offer, go to QuickCloseSell.com, and Frank will call you right away. That's QuickCloseSell.com before you sell your home. And that'll do it again for Not Top Story, Top and Not Top Story of the day. We are here live from SEC Media Days, day one. It's been a long, fantastic day. Eli Drinkwitz is about to leave the podium, obviously the Mizzou head coach. And what we do, what we're going to do next is we're going to catch up with our man Dave Matter on Mizzou. He is from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
It's time to take it on at Gossett Mitsubishi's summer sales event. You need a new ride? We Gossett covered. Don't fret about gas mileage on your summer vacation. Get 39 MPG combined with 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage, $219 a month or $17,015. Take sporty to a new level with 2023 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. 28 MPG combined, $349 a month or buy for $27,335. Plus, 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander, 7 seats, $409 a month or $31,795. And get peace of mind with our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett and Gossett Motor Cars.
75 months at 3.69. Mirage NH00 6956. MSRP 17515. Eclipse PZ 00747. MSRP 28085. Outlander NZO 78023. MSRP 32295. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax filing license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/1/22. Dealer stock only.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully, because now there are new regenerative treatments available here. Hi, this is Greg Gaston. QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, is now open, giving lasting relief to people with joint pain, using the latest in precision medicine with natural biologics. It's an exciting non-surgical approach that can restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints and get you moving again. QC Kinetics has over 100 clinics nationwide and has treated thousands of patients with an incredible success and satisfaction rate. If you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, you need to check out these new treatments. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, no surgery. Call now to schedule your free consultation with the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. Have you been turned down by your homeowner's insurance in the past 12 months for damage you believe you're owed? Call Brian Elder Roofing now. Our professionals will do a no-obligation, thorough evaluation of your property and document all damage we find. Our fully certified Hague inspectors are trained to identify storm damage to assess and build a full estimate in a language your carrier will understand. If there is no damage found, we will tell you just that. We build a data file of your actual storm damage for your carrier, all at no cost to you, free. So call now for your comprehensive roof guarantee from Brian Elder Roofing. Call us, 867-0303. That's 867-0303, or schedule online at brianelderroofing.com. Because if you think it's a claim, we'll help you show it's a claim.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
How do you grow your business without spending more on credit card fees? Call Blake Jones, your local Mid-South Advanced Merchant Services representative. He works with your business to help it grow instantly. Small business owners already have enough cost. Let Blake Jones help you lower your credit card processing cost risk-free. Absolutely no cost to you, the small business owner. Call 662-408-9324. That's 662-408-9324. Call Blake Jones today and start saving money tomorrow.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
Open the door, sit in the seat, turn the key, and go.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Dave Matter writes for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, my hometown paper, and he does Missouri athletics for them. He joins us now. Dave, how are you, man?
Doing well. Thanks for having me. Great to be in Atlanta.
Absolutely. Now, I know you were down there listening to Greg Sankey, what he had to say. What did you think of his comments this morning?
I thought they were interesting. Obviously, he was, kind of sideswiped with the Big Ten news from a couple weeks ago, and he obviously came prepared. And the obvious follow-up question is, what does all that mean for the SEC? Because that's why we're all here, and that's why he's here, obviously. And I thought his answers are interesting. I said to somebody afterwards, if you cut up pieces of his response to the questions about expansion, you can come away convinced that the SEC is done at 16 forever. You can also come away convinced they're going to go to 20 tomorrow. So you never know.
But he truly, to me, like just watching it and seeing what he had to say, there's a different demeanor about him. It feels like the experience is there, and now he knows the position of power he holds, basically.
Well, yeah, and I think also, I think the SEC can stick its chest out a little bit more than it does normally, knowing that the Big Ten made that move in response to what the SEC did last summer with Oklahoma and Texas. And it's if you're the SEC, you say, hey, we started this, what we did last year, and Big Ten is just, chasing and trying to keep pace at this point. So that's why I believe when he says there's no urgency, no reason to panic in response to that, because that was in response to what the league did last year.
Mm-hmm. Dave Matter, you're no stranger to Atlanta, back-to-back years for Gary Pinkel's
That's right.
Tigers. How quickly do the fans want that again, and do they expect that from Eli Drinkins?
Well, I think as great as those 2 seasons were for Missouri and for Gary's legacy, certainly for the university's confidence that they can compete in the SEC, I think it also might have set up false expectations that, hey, this is pretty easy. You know? Just roll out the footballs and you can make your way to Atlanta. Missouri did it in year 2 and 3. But the reality is it's really hard to do. I mean, there's a lot of programs in this conference that have never made it to the championship game. Mm-hmm. And Missouri, I think a couple takeaways. One, you say, hey, they did have a Hall of Fame coach who's going to be enshrined in the College Football Hall of Fame later this year. Well-deserved. I'm very biased. I wrote Gary's biography with him. So, but I'll stand on any table there is and say he's one of the great coaches we've seen in a long time. And he had some really good players.
And really good person.
Yep. Absolutely. And then number two is it's really hard. And, the league's only gotten better since then. I think some schools, especially in the SEC East, have made better head coaching decisions since then, not just hires, but keeping people like Mark Stoops at Kentucky. And it's just really, really hard to win. And Eli Drinkwitz is he knows that. Obviously, he's been in the league before, but he's figuring it out firsthand that this is a brutal conference, and it's hard, especially now when you got Georgia as the national champion.
And he jumped in the deep end. Let's be honest about the situation. I mean, 1 year at App State does not prepare you for the SEC East. It's just not generally how it goes. Now, I think the first year, fantastic. Last year, you look at just defensively, there's just so many issues with Steve Wilkes. You had the run defense was some of the worst in the country.
Right.
What do you think about the from last year to this year, new DC, trying to get everything sort of figured out? Do you think that there will be improvement on that side of the ball?
Part of me thinks it's hard to be worse than what they were at the first half of last season. I mean, they were the worst Power 5 defense of the 5 power leagues. They did get better at the second half of the season. No one was paying attention at that point, really, outside of Missouri. But then you scrap it and start over now with the new coordinator. So I do think what they've done with recruiting, especially with the transfer portal, is going to help that side of the ball. They went out and got established starters at other Power 5 programs at positions of need, which is really a must, absolutely. And then they went out and made, I think, a pretty interesting hire in Brian Baker Blake Baker is the defensive coordinator. From Miami. He's been a college coordinator, which Steve Wilkes had never been. Right. That's important. And he's also had success. Blake Baker's had success in his first season as a defense coordinator, both at Louisiana Tech and Miami. So he has produced instant results, instant progress, and they're going to need it, against this schedule. I mean, Missouri's schedule early on is no cupcake.
Now, offensively, too. You look at Brady Cook, and shout out Chaminade Prep. I have some friends that went to Chaminade. He's going to have Luther Burden to throw to by all accounts. 5-star, big wide receiver. Somehow Eli Drinkwitz sort of pulled out of high school. On that side of the ball, no Connor Bazelak anymore. He's out the door. Do you think Brady Cook can sort of step in there and at least keep the offense on pace and on time?
If it's Brady Cook, he's got to win the job.
Right.
Jack Abraham is on campus, a 7th-year senior. He turns 25 years old this fall.
From Oxford?
From Oxford. This guy's so old. He was in the same high school class as DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's how old he is. And they brought him in to challenge Cook and Tyler Macon and the freshman Sam Horn, who's probably going to be drafted in the MLB draft tonight. So that adds another wrinkle to it. So they need to figure out that position. I think Brady's done some good things. I think you can win with Brady Cook, but I don't know if it's his job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The signing of Burden, biggest Mizzou signee since Tony Van Zandt?
Dorial Green Beckham
was there. He was number 1 player in the country.
Didn't end great. But.
Wide receiver. Didn't have a great career either in college or he had one good year. Not a great career. But, yes, it's on the same wavelength, same plane as those because national recruit in your own backyard that had committable offers to every school in the country, and to go in there and get him was a big statement. Now he's got to have a good career and have a good freshman year and build on that because now with the transfer portal, any player you add is one bad game away from wanting to play somewhere else. So
right.
You got to keep recruiting your guys, and now that's the next challenge.
Yep, and we'll see what happens. What happens? What do you think about as far as their peak is concerned? What do you think the expectation for this year's team should be?
Well, in this room, it's not going to be great. I think when the poll comes out Friday, they're probably going to be picked 6th in the East, above Vanderbilt, maybe 5th, but probably 6th. And I even brought this up to Eli today. I'm like, those kind of projections are all measured based on quarterback more than anything. Like, you can improve 21 other positions on the team, but if you have uncertainty at quarterback, folks like us are going to be like, I don't know about Missouri this year because you got to know who that guy is. So I think everything's sort of held back by that position. But I do think they're improved, not across the board, but many other positions. The schedule is a little bit tougher. You got early road games at Kansas State and at Auburn. You got a Florida game in there early on the road. So to make progress, I think you got to win 7 games to be able to say in the regular season to say all right, this program's on the upswing because Missouri's they've been a 500 team since Gary Pinkel retired. They're
right.
Exactly 500. And they're never bad, but they have not been a better than average yet. And they've got to make that next step.
Yep. He is Dave Matter at Dave_Matter on Twitter, and he's from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Appreciate it, Dave. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Dave.
Now, I really find it interesting to think about where this Mizzou team was at the beginning of their SEC days, Brett, and where they are right this second. Gary Pinkel. And we don't talk about it enough, and I think it gets underappreciated in a lot of ways. And there were some negative things happening on the way out, and I think it had to do with the outgoing president and everything else. But Gary Pinkel and what he did at Mizzou is unbelievable. To win the SEC East twice, right when they joined, to get to Atlanta, and where they are now. I mean, it's been tough sledding.
He's a tough guy. It starts tough for Mizzou this year. Their opening night against Louisiana Tech, that is no gimme. I mean, they should.
K-State's terrifying.
I think and then they go to the Little Apple to play Kansas State, and then Abilene Christian, and then on the road to Auburn in a East versus West game. It's not going to be easy for Mizzou. I do think they though can scratch out around 500. And that'll get them in a bowl like last year, and have some hope. Everybody knows the third year is kind of a make-it-happen year for coaches. I don't think it's quite the urgency there for Drinkwitz because of what he replaced. Your good friend and person that brought you to Memphis and Barry Odom, and preceding him, Gary Pinkel. If they start that cycle of coaches with him, if they moved on from Drinkwitz after this year, boy, they could be hiring and firing coaches every 3 or 4 years.
But the truth of the matter is last year was, at least defensively, it was a disaster, Brett.
Yeah.
That was the worst Power 5 defense I watched last year.
Which is so unlike those back-to-back Eastern teams that was so good in the defensive
now,
lines.
granted, you're talking about a bowl team. They were 6-6, lost in the Armed Forces Bowl, so they were still around. But after that 2020 COVID-shortened year, you thought, okay, maybe this program could be on the up and up, and you thought Connor Bazelak would be the guy to get them there. Now he's in Indiana. Brady Cook or Jack Abraham has to take over. And I was surprised to see, and I know Jack Abraham's old, and I know he's been at Mississippi State. He's got some experience.
And it's Southern Miss.
I was surprised to hear Dave talk about that be a legitimate fight out in fall camp to see who actually wins that QB competition, because Brady Cook sort of at the end of the year came along. They inserted him in there. He's young, and you would think, okay, if I'm thinking toward the future, I want to put in a guy like that we wanted, that we recruited by Eli Drinkwitz. You would think that he'd be the guy they'd want to insert in there. But certainly it sounds like Jack Abraham has come along.
But, Gabe, we're going to have a lot of places with serious quarterback competition, it appears. But I think the coaches will know who they want to have start, but they're scared to post that depth chart and decide on that starter too early, because we know now you might be playing against the backup.
Right. That's true.
The backup's getting out of town. It speaks for itself. At Alabama, who's going to be their quarterback? At Arkansas, who's going to be their quarterback? At Georgia, who will be their quarterback? But a lot of other places, at Mississippi State, we know it's going to be Will Leach. We know Hendon Hooker at Tennessee. But a lot of places, A&M included, Auburn included, Ole Miss included,
LSU.
The coaches may know. Mizzou, Drinkwitz may fourth practice. All right, I know who I'm going to start, but I don't want somebody cutting out on me, because then if I have an injury, we got nothing behind him. You're down to, you're very threadbare there. I've never liked that holding the depth chart back, because you know the other guy may get out of town. I think that's unfair to them, but I see why coaches are doing it and will only do it more. We're going to have more August intrigue that's really not intrigue. Inside those coaching offices, they know who they want.
And it's a game planning thing, too. You don't want everybody to know. I mean, when you have a quarterback competition, you don't want another team that you're going to play that year to, or at least first game necessarily, to know exactly who's going to run out there. So
I thought Bazelak was going to be big time, and still may be.
He still has he has potential. Yeah. He has potential. But they're in a world of hurt, I think, right now at Mizzou. And I'm not saying that they're going to be miserably bad. They could surprise me this year. And I agree with Dave's sentiment about defensively. You can't get much worse. Seemingly you can only get better. But Mizzou with that Kansas State, Louisiana Tech to start the year and what they're going to have to play in the SEC, they're going to have to get ready, and some decisions are going to have to be made. And I really do think if he's not already on the hot seat, I think Eli Drinkwitz could be on the hot seat by the end of the year.
They get Georgia at home, but that's not really going to matter where they play them. So just as well to play them. You almost would rather play them on the road in kind of one of those throwaway years. Our SEC Media Days sponsors we appreciate so much, and that includes First National Bank and Trust, with its roots in Eastern Arkansas as a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, and now firmly in West Tennessee. Eastern Arkansas's largest independently owned bank, now in West Tennessee. First National Bank and Trust, with offices at 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, 901-498-5763, and in Carville. The personal banking, the business banking, the online banking, and that mobile app. First National Bank and Trust, they focus on their clients in the Mid-South for all their banking needs. Commercial, residential, recreational, customers depend on First National Bank and Trust because they know real estate. 901-498-5763, and contact Brooks Winchester or any member of the First National Bank and Trust team. Courage and confidence, it's been on display by First National Bank and Trust, their officers, their directors throughout its history. In good times and in challenging times, First National Bank and Trust, they've been recognized as one of the most progressive banking institutions in the country. Again, call 901-498-5763 or contact any member of their trusted team.
Now, I want to go back to one thing you said, and it's about Eli Drinkwitz and the footing he basically has right now. And you think it's helped by what Barry Odom did before him. Now, Barry Odom ended up 6-6 his last year, didn't end up with a losing record. I sort of wonder how much that is the case, because I think a lot of people, as soon as Barry Odom was out the door, wanted immediate improvement.
Wanted offense.
And even if you look back at 2020, while I think there were signs of offense, there were signs of life with that Mizzou team, I don't know if they have ever surpassed any team that we saw in the Barry Odom era. I don't think we've seen a team, and in fact, I think there's been some regression, especially defensively.
And Gabe, it's the fallacy in fans that say, I don't care if we lose, I want to be exciting. No, you don't. You want to win.
Yes.
If you're winning 19-13, you would prefer that over losing 48-47.
Yes.
And I've heard that forever about, let's at least be exciting. No, let's be fundamentally sound.
Yeah. And let's win ball games.
Yeah.
That's what everybody wants. That's everybody's language.
It's the object of the game. That's why we got that scoreboard.
Yeah.
Now we got them on both ends of the field.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, very pleased to be joined by Laura Rutledge.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hey, Jeff Allen, could things get any hotter in Memphis? Summer's here and I'm ready for a road trip.
Then come see me at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah, where the deals are hotter than the weather. 2022 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, and a 2023 Kia Soul LX, $248 a month. Both 36-month lease and $27.99 due at signing.
Hey, Jeff, I got to bring the family.
You need 3 rows and 7-passenger seating. 2022 Kia Sorento LX, $339, 36-month lease and $34.99 due at signing.
And your Kias are always equipped with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com. 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 per year, 26 excess mileage, 0 security deposit, Forte Indy 492,084, MSRP 21,065, Soul P718,7730, MSRP 21,720, Sorrento NG 137,060, MSRP 32,595. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/1/22. Dealer stock only.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, now in West Tennessee. Offices at 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard and in Collierville. Contact Brooks Winchester at 901-498-5763 for commercial, residential, and recreational needs. A division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. First National Bank and Trust customers can depend on them because they know real estate, personal banking, business banking, online banking, and the mobile app, all at First National Bank and Trust.
Progressive presents Don't Do It Yourself.
Okay, simple enough. Just got to get in there with my screwdriver. Do you mind handing me my screwdriver?
Are you trying to say screwdriver?
Well, I mean, you're saying it weird, but yeah, sure.
Look, maybe we should bundle our home and auto with Progressive. We could save big, then pay someone to install this for us so you don't have to pretend you can.
I know my way around a screwdriver. Oh, yeah. This is going to take up Philippe's head for sure.
Save when bundling home and auto with Progressive and use the money to, not do it yourself. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Brett Norsworthy here. Join me with Gabe Kuhn for SEC Media Days, July 18th through the 21st at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. Sports Time with Gabe and Stats will be there with conference insiders, players, and coaches. All-day coverage all week long from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. from SEC Media Days. Brought to you by First National Bank and Trust, Landers Ford in Collierville, Mossy Oak Golf Club, Memphis Tourism, Ronnie Grizzani, Schools, Belly Acres, The Commissary, Golf Sticks Pretzels, and Quick Close Sale.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
Absolutely spectacular design, spared no expense.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
You know her. Laura Rutledge joins us right now from ESPN. Laura, how are you?
I'm great. It's so good to be with you guys.
Absolutely.
Laura, the number of times we have you on in our studio, whether it's NFL or SEC, and Gabe can see me beaming like a best friend. I knew it. I knew superstardom was on the way, and you have attained it, and you do it with such a sunny disposition, and that's great because this is fun.
It is, and I appreciate you saying that. And I mean, Brett, you've been with me from the get-go. I feel like I was thinking about this today, going back to 2008, my very first SEC Media Days when I was still in college, a sophomore in college, coming here being so intimidated, and it was people like you that held out that helping hand and have been so wonderful to me throughout my career.
I was saying it's my first one.
Yeah,
it's my first one.
Look at you.
Laura's trying to get it going.
I'm telling you, I've told this story on the air. I knew you were a special kind of person because I don't know if you remember this or not, but we're in the check-in line, and it was a little klutzy, and 2 or 3 people in front of us are kind of going crazy. And you were sitting there just calm, cool, collected, and not wanting to jump line, not wanting, you know who I am. And I thought, that's a good person.
Oh, thank you. I truly cannot say thank you enough for your support over the years, and it's so good to see you guys and to be with you here.
Let's get to Baby Reese's picks.
Let's do it.
She had a year last year, didn't she?
13-3?
She's a shark.
14-3.
14-3. College football shark.
She really, and it's so funny because everyone's always like, oh, well, you and Josh, my husband, must be telling her what to do. No. We do not tell her what to do, and if you've ever had a toddler, you know that you don't tell them what to do because that doesn't go well usually. So toddlers have a mind of their own, and she really has a knack for it. So we've got something special up our sleeve for next year. She's still going to be involved in the picks, but it'll look slightly different, and she is so excited about it.
We need a live stream, a full show. We need to get this all taken care of.
I've told Kirk Herbstreit this. My favorite game days when his boys were little, and he would bring them on the set, and they would call Lee Corso Uncle Scooter. and when you let that fly of Reese on on Twitter every week. I look forward to it.
Oh, that means so much to me. She really, I've loved sharing her with people and knowing that the great people of the SEC appreciate our little ones. And that means so much to me because I consider all of our fans and all of y'all like family. So to me, she should be family too. And she's been so well received. And that's something that, we'll look back on this time of her younger years and say, wow, the SEC made it even that much more special.
In a Gator Crimson Tide family.
Yeah. Oh, you know it.
Yeah, I need to look forward and actually take some of these picks. 13-3, my gosh.
14.
Yeah.
14-3. Oh, wow.
And then let me tell you this.
Can't sell it short.
She doesn't make NFL picks usually, but I've had her pick the Super Bowl the past 2 years just to see, and she's been right both times. So she picked the Bucs, and then this past year she picked the Rams. And
it's insane.
I'm like, wow, girl, I didn't know you knew the NFL too, so apparently you do.
Do you rub it into Felica?
Oh, always. I think he's getting a little scared of her. He's like, ooh, I better watch my back.
So what have you thought of what we've seen on stage today so far? We've had Greg Sankey, we've had Brian Kelly up there. What have you thought of? Well, let's start with Greg Sankey. What do you think of his comments today?
It's been really interesting. And, we expected Greg Sankey to come on, and it was a highly anticipated talk. We knew that he would address NIL. We knew he would address expansion. And I thought what he did was sort of calm the masses a little bit. He had some really key moments where he talked about, look, as the SEC, we're not desperate. We're not nervous about trying to expand just because we're seeing it happen elsewhere. We're not getting pressured by TV. It was an interesting shot he took there, talking about the Big Ten maybe specifically. And I think when you look at the way that he handled today in sort of saying, look, the SEC's good, calling out the specific date of July 1st, 2025, when Oklahoma and Texas will join this conference, making sure that people know that's still where we're at. Right. Obviously, there could be some in between that may factor in, but I thought that was really fascinating. The other thing, we kind of already knew this. When it comes to NIL regulation, which is a big topic for rightful reasons, they don't expect anything to get done in this Congress. And he has said that before, but to hear it once again in front of this larger audience, it makes you think the NIL world that we're living in now, which is crazy at all times, is not going anywhere. You're not going to see that regulated nationally because it really won't be. It's going to be state regulated and
state issue,
and that's it. And it sort of wipes his hands clean of a lot of that. But I thought his comments were enlightening, and it was really interesting to hear from him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the SEC, the Oklahoma, Texas thing, we'll see what happens. I did appreciate at least some clarity on 2025. That's still the plan. We don't know if a buyout will happen. There's still the grant and rights. There's still plenty of money
for those.
Well, there's still money that needs to be paid if they want to come any earlier. Now, Brian Kelly, on the other hand, the first time he's been at SEC Media Days for LSU, and I think there's been a lot made about
Marcus
it.
Spears is going to want to report.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
I've already been texting him and Ryan Clark.
We
like
have
your
to see
guys
a
up here
swagoo.
on the stage.
Appreciates what you say, but a lot's been made about him this offseason, about his fit at LSU and all this other nonsense, but we know he's a winning coach. What do you think about what he did today?
Well, you know what fits? Winning.
Yeah.
So no one cares where you came from or what you've been doing if you win games, if
currency.
you win championships. Exactly, and especially in this great conference.
Bitcoin, it's ATM, it's cash.
Well, I don't know about
winning.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been,
Bitcoin,
it's been dipping. We need to be careful.
Crypto. But I thought that he handled some of those questions really well about his fit, because at some point, and I realize we're at July 18th, it's SEC Media Day, so fit's still part of the story, but it won't be part of the story if he starts to have success. Now, it is interesting what's going to happen with this quarterback battle. You got Myles Brennan, who's been there forever. We were even noting that Myles Brennan was part of Joe Burrow's quarterback battle. Wow. So that sort of gives you the context of how long he's been around. Joe Burrow was in the Super Bowl this past year, and then you think about Jaden Daniels, who comes over from Arizona State. Now, I've covered some of his games back when I did Thursday Night College Football on ESPN. He is dynamic at times, and he brings a skill set with his legs and his arm that really is tantalizing, but then he'll have those really bad plays. Yep. And that's what I think they're going to have to reckon with. Are they willing to risk that, to have somebody who can, run the football that way and be a threat to run as a quarterback? And then you look around and you say, okay, then you got Garrett Nussmeier, who's younger, but interesting and has the pedigree of being a coach's son and understanding college football. So I think they've got depth in that room, but that's going to, of course, as always, be the key. And then on the other side, you look at at their defense, and that's where they've struggled so much of late. And it's interesting because it's not that LSU's ever lacking for talent. And so I think we see, once again, a talented roster. There are some big-time guys on this roster, receivers on the other side of the ball. I mean, they've got some big-time players, but can they put it together, and can their coaching staff get it going under Brian Kelly?
Last thing for Laura Rutledge. Laura, I know Georgia's national champ. I give them all due credit. Way to go, Kirby. I was happy for him. But it all still goes through Nick Saban in Alabama, doesn't it?
It does. I feel like even Georgia fans know that a little bit. You talk to some more reasonable ones, and they say, we know, we had our year. But listen, Georgia's not going to go down easy. That's one thing to note. And for Alabama, I mean, you look at it, Bryce Young is phenomenal. He'll be better this year. I think their offensive line will be better. There are questions, though, when it comes to the receiving core. We saw what they look like without Jamison Williams. They filled some of those holes, but those guys are unproven. Defensively, you've still got Will Anderson. Their defense should be a lot better than it was last year. And so you think about a hungry, motivated, disrespected in some ways, they feel Alabama team coming back. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with, as they always are, and I can't wait to see what happens this season.
The reload factor with Nick Saban's just
it's unbelievable.
Unreal.
It's not fair. It's not fair to the rest of us, but what are you going to do?
Develop.
Yeah.
That's what they talk about. But Laura, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
We really appreciate it.
It's so great to be with you.
You have a good one. It really is a who's who of people in college football here at the College Football Hall of Fame for day one of SEC Media Days. Laura Rutledge, thanks for stopping by. You got to see Bill Hancock, the executive director of the College Football Playoff earlier. So we have some local flavor. We got to see Harold Grader, Liberty Bowl head honcho, over here. But before we get to the second hour, I got to tell you, the first name in Memphis Italian food, it's Ronnie Grisani's in Regalia. Brett and I actually had a great lunch there last week, and it's just fantastic every time I go in. Lunch, the Italian favorites with the crisp, cold Miss Mary salad, lobster tower, fried green tomatoes, the crab stack, Monday through Saturday for lunch. Ronnie Grisani's Catering. Check out the lunch catering guide at ronniegrisani.com. The Elfo special is so dang good. Oh, delectable. But salad, Italian bread, $14 per person. Ronnie Grisani's. They'll bring it to you. 901-850-0191. Again, 901-850-0191. Pick a pan up of lasagna at Ronnie Grisani's at Regalia, or check out the bulk menu at ronniegrisani.com. Get your favorites at home. Chicken Alfredo, ravioli, Italian spinach, curbside pickup, delivery to your door, free within 4 miles of Regalia. The bar, stay cool with a cocktail list. Steaks, the 8-ounce gorgonzola and bacon wrap filet. Try it, thank me later. And High Point Grocery, super low on Spotswood, and Goodman Road, and Buster's Liquors. Make lunch or dinner easy at Ronnie Grisani's, a Memphis tradition since 1909. Hour 1 is now in the books. Hour 2 is on the way, and we start it like we normally start a Monday. We do it with David Cobb.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And it's now available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hi, this is Greg Gaston. I'm talking about new therapies, advanced all-natural biologics, regenerative treatments that can restore and repair damaged joint tissue, providing lasting relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in precision regenerative medicine with over 100 clinics across America and literally thousands of satisfied patients. If you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new biologic therapy options that can change your life. Call QC Kinetics now. It's a free consultation with local medical professionals. Call 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. QC Kinetics, 901-445-1010.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. As we all know, Memphis can be a hotbed for severe weather, and that weather can play havoc on our roofs. Most people don't know what they should do first when they're concerned about the condition of their roof. Call their insurance company, call a contractor, or trust a door-to-door salesman that's making claims that are hard to believe. My advice would be call the contractor that you know and trust. If you don't know any, research your local contractors and give 2 or 3 a call. I hope your research will lead you to us. Have your roof inspected, decide for yourself what you should do, and whether or not you should file a claim with your insurance company. It's your home, it's your policy, and it's your money. Don't let anyone pressure you into anything. If you give Five Ash Roofing a call, we promise personal service with a member of our family with no pressure and no hype. Five Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Barden Stone has been serving the Mid-South area for over 3 generations. What sets them apart and makes them a unique landscape stone center? They have one of the largest selections with a wide variety of colors and sizes, all the way from cobblestones to garden rock and pebbles from ground cover, plus fieldstone and flagstone, stepping stones and stacking stones, even landscape boulders. In addition to a wide variety of stones and rocks, Barden Stone staff is very knowledgeable. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or design professional, Barden Stone can answer any question pertaining to the use of stones from A to Z. Barden Stone, they know stone inside and out. Barden Stone, 1 mile south of Park at 1557 Cherry Road. Barden Stone, open for you Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Call 901-683-8264 and visit Barden Stone.
It's the Make This the Summer event, and it's going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. And we're ready and waiting to put you in a new ride today. Can't find the vehicle you've been dreaming about? No worries, Gossett has the solution. Stop the searching. Get to Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat and we'll order your perfect vehicle just for you at no extra charge. Your color, your extras, your perfect vehicle. Gossett will and can order that vehicle just for you. Won't take long, won't break the bank, won't make you wait for hours. It's easy as 1, 2, 3, and you won't be paying for market adjustments or added costs you can't even figure out. You will not pay more than MSRP for your new Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, or Fiat. So get to Gossett today and let us put you in the ride of your dreams. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat or shop online GossettMotorcars.net. All pricing includes all rebates and incentives, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/1/2022. Dealer stock only.
Gabe Kuhn here. Join me with Brett Norsworthy for SEC Media Days, July 18th through the 21st at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. Sportstime with Gabe and Stats will be there with conference insiders, players, and coaches. All-day coverage all week from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. from SEC Media Days. Brought to you by First National Bank and Trust, Landers Ford and Collierville, Mossy Oak Golf Club, Memphis Tourism, Ronnie Grisani's Goulds, Belly Acres, The Commissary, Golf Sticks Pretzels, and Quick Close Sell.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Oh, nothing but the best.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Hour 2 is here on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and with Stats. We are live from the College Football Hall of Fame for SEC Media Day 1. And we have a lot of sponsors that are fantastic. First National Bank and Trust, Landers Ford and Collierville, Jason's Deli, Mossy Oak Golf Club, Memphis Tourism, Ronnie Grisani's, Gould's, Belly Acres, The Commissary, Golf Sticks, Pretzels, and Quick Close Sell. Make sure you hit us up, 901-360-8255 at the AutoZone listener line if you have questions, comments, concerns. Also, you can watch us live and message us on our socials, Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Let's go ahead and bring in our man David Cobb at David W. Cobb on Twitter from CBS Sports covering college football and college basketball. David, what's happening, man?
Man, not much, guys. A couple things here. One, it shows how loyal you guys are that you're having me on today, even though you are in the most talent-rich hallway in America right now from a media perspective, and could literally pull, like, you know, any writer, any radio guy, probably a coach or a player if you wanted to. So appreciate that. And then also, I just am so fired up, Gabe, for you to experience this and also to see stats like in his element. Like, this is Brett Northworth's week. And anyway, I don't know if
he's rocking the seersucker too. I mean, he's decked out today. He's ready to go, David.
Yes, I'm jealous.
You knew he would.
In fact, the timing is just unfortunate because for a decent chunk of the last year, my wife was actually running the Chick-fil-A inside the College Football Hall of Fame. And it's just within the last few months that they pulled her away from that and sent us up here to Illinois. So anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying it there. And I've been watching along and following along with your coverage.
And today is 40 days until the week 0 games, 40 days until college football starts. Illinois will go on that Saturday, and the SEC will have a team going that Saturday. Vanderbilt will play out at Hawaii. Yeah, I hope Hawaii's got their COVID issues figured out. It wasn't COVID. They hated their coach. That's why they didn't play the bowl game against the Tigers. But, David, we are in this March. It's a time of year that I love. Everybody's undefeated. Hope springs eternal. Last year's over. Good or for bad, last year's over. It's into the history book, and now we are on to this year. We just finished visiting with Laura Rutledge from ESPN, and Georgia. They are the national champs. I give them all due credit. They could go back to back. They haven't passed anybody. For this lap, they've caught Alabama. They get the credit for that. Alabama, the unthinkable last year, 2 losses, but it still goes through Nick Saban, doesn't it?
I quickly revert to Alabama being the default favorite in the SEC going into this season. Because you look at what Georgia lost on the defensive side of the ball, clearly they have a lot of talent and have recruited well enough to still be really, really solid. But I don't think you can just go into a new season and not miss a beat, considering what they had drafted from the defensive side of the ball. And then you look at Alabama and the way they were able to reload offensively, in particular through the portal, it's just unbelievable. So you look at Jahmyr Gibbs, you look at Jermaine Burton. Those two right there in particular are going to be impact players for Alabama on offense right out of the gate. And so Georgia, you look at their skill position guys, and you see Brock Bowers, and you see some really good running backs. But then you go to that receiver position, and it's more question marks than proven production at this point. And so with the quarterback disparity there between Stetson Bennett and Bryce Young, it just seems like Georgia's really going to have to thread the needle to have a leg up on Alabama again this year. So, I mean, I'm with you. I think Alabama's the clear-cut favorite, especially since they get A&M in Tuscaloosa, and with LSU kind of being in a rebuilding phase here. Those upper echelon, most talented teams in the league that you think can maybe win a national title of that group, Alabama seems far and away the most likely, in my opinion.
There are a couple of easy votes for us when we get to voting 1 through 7 in East and West. I think 1 in both East and West, pretty easy. Georgia, Bama, I think fairly easy. 7 in the East, no disrespect intended, but I think fairly easy for Vandy. Every other vote from then on, you could throw into a box with a jigsaw puzzle, throw it up in the air, however it falls, it falls. I don't really know who's 2 or who's 6 or 7 in the SEC West. I don't really know who's 2 or 3 or 4 in the East.
Yeah, it's a feature of this football season that's going to make it exciting, because it feels like from a national standpoint, no matter what preseason magazine you pick up or whoever you talk to, you can almost predestine or preordain the college football playoff and who's going to be that for, and that's a problem with national college football on the whole. But you're right, the SEC in particular, which is what we love and what we are talking about from this point on for the next few months for the most part, it's pretty wide open after Georgia and Alabama in both divisions. Mm-hmm. And I don't think Georgia is invincible necessarily either. And for that matter, neither is Alabama. But, yeah, 2 through 7 is pretty much wide open in both divisions. I mean, I think I'm going to pencil in Vanderbilt for that 7th spot in the East. But, 2 through 6 is anybody's guess. And in the West, same as last year, after after Alabama, it's just, I mean, my gosh, like you're looking at Auburn as your last place finisher. I mean, LSU maybe. Like I don't know. It's going to be a dogfight every week. So the SEC I think should be as healthy, as good as ever. Even if we do feel like we've got a sense of who's going to come out on top in the end.
I do think in the SEC West, if A&M was 7 or 6 or even 5, that would classify as a stunner. And if they're any of those 3, 7, 6, or 5, Jimbo Fisher, a lot of the country will be glad of that with his May theatrics, and his own fans, they'll be ready to get after him.
Here's where I'm at with Jimbo Fisher. I cannot believe, though, this year A&M's going to be, no doubt, in that number 2 spot. Last year, very talented team, 8-4, even beat Bama on the way to doing that. Ole Miss was number 2 on that side of the SEC at 10-3, 6-2 in conference, which was fantastic. I think they'll take a step back. Truly, though,
Ole Miss came in second.
Yeah, I don't know if people do.
You kind of stunned me when you said it like that.
But do we buy with certainty that A&M is going to be at 2 or 3 on the west side of the SEC?
I do not. I mean, if I had to place a bet on it, I would bet Texas A&M because of talent. But they're so unproven at key positions. You go to quarterback, right? There's always been this assumption that at some point Haynes King is going to be something resembling the second coming of Johnny Manziel, right? Well, I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen it. And
he broke his leg last year, didn't he?
He did. And so there's an assumption there that eventually they're going to get some really good quarterback play beyond, what Kellen Mond provided them, certainly beyond what Zach Calzada provided them last year. But that to me is a leap that is, we're going to have to see that at some point. And I think that's probably the biggest thing holding Texas A&M back is getting that high-level offensive production from the quarterback, because they've had the skill talent. The offensive line has generally been pretty good, but who's going to be that quarterback that takes them to the next level? And I mean, Max Johnson was pretty solid last year at LSU. Maybe he ends up winning the job. We'll see, but I don't know that Jimbo has that Jameis Winston type guy who, let's be honest, was largely responsible for him winning a national title. So when we talk about national title winning head coach Jimbo Fisher, we're talking a lot of that being owed to Jameis Winston. Much like national championship winning head coach Gene Chizik owes a lot of that to Cam Newton. And so Jimbo's got a better track record than certainly Gene Chizik, but I think when we look back and reflect on his resume, we're assuming that he gets back to that national title level. But a lot of that assumption might be rooted in the fact that he once coached somebody who he has no one like Jameis Winston on this Texas A&M roster. I don't think.
Here's Jimbo Fisher's record going back to 2017, his last year at FSU: 5-6. First year at A&M, 9-4. Second year at A&M, 2019, 8-5. COVID year, finally cashing in on Kellen Mond, as David Cobb predicted in the preseason. They go 9-1 and win the Orange Bowl over North Carolina. And then that last year, 8-4. And, Calzada had his movie night against Alabama, but the rest of it was average. And then they chickened out of their bowl game.
Yeah, exactly. If you go and compare it side by side with Kevin Sumlin, it's really not all that impressive what he's done. So the recruiting rankings are there. Obviously, you beat Alabama last year. I think that buys time. I think even if they go and lose by 3 or 4 touchdowns in Tuscaloosa, so long as they at least finish 8-4, 9-3, the fact that he at one point did beat Nick Saban and continues to recruit at a high level, it's going to still buy him another year. And then not to mention the fact that, who would even want to begin to contemplate what the buyout would be for Jimbo Fisher for that contract?
Can Arkansas do it again? Can Arkansas be up there 2-3 in the West?
You can even make the case that KJ Jefferson is second best quarterback in the league. I think Tennessee fans would push back and say Hendon Hooker is, and Kentucky fans might think that Will Levis is, or what have you. But I think you can make the case for KJ Jefferson. And the thing that I think is so important about Arkansas is the coordinator retention. And so you talk about Kendall Briles there.
Staff.
Yeah, and then Barry Odom, defense coordinator. So that, to me, is a huge plus for Arkansas. And when you talk about them being a culture program, like that's sort of a backhanded way to say they're a program that's never going to have a top 10 or top 15 talented team. But it's not meaningless. The culture piece is not meaningless, and it's I think it manifests itself in that continuity on the coaching staff this year, which is something that's hard to quantify, but certainly something I think that could help them stay together in October, November. When you get into the meat of the schedule, you could look up and see Arkansas in the running for that second place, position in the division, just based off the fact that they've got a veteran returner at quarterback. They know who they are with their system. The coaching staff is going to be on the same page. You don't have to ever worry about, I don't think, a disintegration because of internal issues at Arkansas. And for me, that makes them a team with a high floor.
When we talk about coaching trios, I brought this up with Brett last week. We had a discussion about it. Do you think that when we look at Sam Pittman, Barry Odom, Kendall Briles, is that the best coaching trio in the SEC? I think last year Lane Kiffin, Jeff Lebby, DJ Durkin was really close. But with them broken up the way they did, do you think that that's the best coaching trio we have?
You could make the case. I mean, Alabama with Bill O'Brien and Nick Saban, I mean, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch there. I mean, I think the defensive coordinator, Pete Golding, you might look at as a bit of a weak link in that chain. But
I know Bama fans would.
The Bama, yeah, I mean, Bama's got a really good 1-2 punch there, though, with Bill O'Brien and Saban. Yeah, I mean, offhand, yeah, I think I would. I mean, Ole Miss last year would have had a good run for their money with that because you had Levy, you had Durkin, and then obviously Lane. But, man, this year, I really do think it is, or certainly could be Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. Now, Greg Sankey spoke up and had his introductory presser to open up SEC Media Days this morning. And we're going to play some sound later, but one thing we are not going to play, and one thing I think is very interesting, he brought up, and this is going to be a continued conversation, clear, enforceable NIL laws. He says right now it's a patchwork of state laws. I agree with him. And he said that's always going to be a bad system. Now, here, I guess the question for me is, now that the players, now that agents, now that everybody's seen sort of the free market, non-controlled era of NIL, do you think that Greg Sankey, do you think that these commissioners can take back control of NIL?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought one thing he said was interesting today to me was he's looking forward to the news articles and analysis pieces on unmet promises of NIL. You're starting to hear more and more chatter behind the scenes about guys. I mean, there's a lot of buzz out there about Jordan Addison, the most high-profile transfer of this offseason. There's some chatter about him being displeased potentially with unmet expectations from the NIL standpoint out at USC after he left Pittsburgh, after winning the Biletnikoff at Pitt last year, right? So that's a really high-profile example. And Greg Sankey alluded to it today, these unmet promises in NIL. And there's always been unmet promises in recruiting. But now that you're putting monetary value on those, I think there should be some recourse for the athletes and for their camps when what they're told or promised in recruiting isn't met from a financial standpoint. Because if the finances are going to be the driving point behind where a player chooses to attend college, it needs to be enforceable. What they're told they're going to make on NIL through a collective, there needs to be a way to enforce that. Otherwise, coaches are just going to say whatever it takes, throw out whatever dollar amount it takes to get kids on campus. And that's just a terrible system. That just is no good for anyone. So there needs to be something, but the problem is that if college sports tries to enforce some sort of uniform NIL standard, be it through the NCAA or the SEC, they're going to open themselves up to lawsuits, the antitrust stuff, all that stuff that's been the issue all along. All the reasons why we needed Congress to be involved in the first place, that they're still there. And so I don't really know how you police it outside of, I think, eventually making athletes across the board, not just in football, employees of the universities.
Yep.
And I think SEC schools could be in position to do that because they're going to make enough money to pay the softball players and the track and field athletes, right? Maybe the Mountain West schools won't, and they'll have to kind of do their own thing. But when we talk about a separation at the D1 level, I think that's ultimately what it might look like 10, 15 years down the road, is every athlete who plays a sport for an SEC institution is an employee with a certain salary, and then the NIL stuff is just on top of that. And so I think I think that's where we're headed. And as Greg Sankey alluded to today, the change is still coming, and it's coming faster than ever. And so that might sound preposterous, but you think about the pace that we're going through this on. I mean, 10 years down the road, athletes as employees, I think, is where this ends up.
And David, one person at Commissioner Greg Sankey's side, kind of a new chief lieutenant for football and kind of outreach to the football coaches, is someone I know growing up, you and many people in our listening area, with both his tenure as assistant coach at Tennessee and then his really good job as head coach at Ole Miss. I'm talking about David Cutcliffe. He's now in the SEC offices. It's so good to see Coach David Cutcliffe, and it was a good move for him to be coordinator of outreach to the coaches, because a lot of the lieutenants in the SEC office, they may know finance, they may know marketing, they may know TV contracts, they may be lawyers by professional training, but they've never been ball coaches. And David Cutcliffe, he has, and he brings almost a 50-year football life to the SEC. David, after he got at Banks High School in Birmingham, really good player, gets hurt, becomes a football manager for Coach Bryant at Alabama. He can tell Bryant to Saban stories.
That's amazing. That really is amazing. One of the few left who probably can do that. And a guy who can still speak in relevant terms to the league's current coaches, because he was on the sideline at a Power 5 school last year. And I think everybody's got to respect what he did at Duke. If I'm Clark Lee, I'm going to find David Cutcliffe, and I'm picking his brain for every bit of morsel and intelligence I can find, because Vanderbilt, much like Duke, is a really tough place to win due to the academic standards, probably even more so now in the NIL era and in the transfer portal era. So, if I were Clark Lee, I'm going to find David Cutcliffe. And then also, if I'm Steve Sarkisian, who will be in the SEC at some point, I might be kind of kicking the tires on Cut's interest in coming to be an analyst, because we know the relationship between Cutcliffe and the Manning family and how that has borne fruit both for Peyton and for Eli in their playing careers. And I'm sure that Arch and David Cutcliffe would get along quite well if he were to somehow end up in Austin. And he's, I'm sure, still got that itch in him, at least to a certain degree. But at least for now, it's really nice to see Cut, back in the SEC, which is a place, where he spent the majority of his career, really, even including his time at Duke.
I know it's cliched, but it's very few people you ever know of, especially in rough and tumble sports, that you can't find anybody to say a bad word about them. And David Cutcliffe fits that.
Yeah, no doubt. He was one of those guys who, as a Tennessee fan growing up, he was an institution, part of that program, and who at one point was, I think, pretty close to getting the head coaching job. And one of those guys who you sit back and you wonder, well, what if David Cutcliffe had gotten the Tennessee
turned
job?
it down.
And that's, there's a chapter in a book somewhere, probably that explains it all, but that's a saga that, you go back and you rewind 15 years and think how things could be different, both for him and for Tennessee, a program that's been in a hole for quite a long time because they kind of got away from what made them great. And David Cutcliffe was a big part of that.
Last thing for our guest from CBS Sports, David Cobb at David W. Cobb on Twitter. Your colleague Dennis Dodd put out a report today saying Notre Dame's targeting $75 million annually for their media rights payout, and they want to stay independent. This isn't surprising. We've heard about them and how much they do want to remain independent. I guess the question is, if we're cutting all the BS, if we're getting to brass tacks here, with where we're headed in college football, do you think it's going to be possible? Do you think it's going to be possible for Notre Dame to remain independent?
I think so, yeah, because I think 75 might be a little bit of a bluff, because, that would put them on target with what the Big Ten and the SEC are going to be paying out on their next deals. And so that would just make them competitive with those leagues. But I think Notre Dame can thrive as an independent, even if it's making less on its TV contract than the SEC and the Big Ten. If I'm not mistaken, that's kind of how it's been, for a while. So, they don't always, it's not like their cash checks that are 3-4 times as much as the SEC and the Big Ten schools are. I think they value that independence so much, and that even if they were getting a little bit less than the Big Ten or the SEC schools, that that wouldn't bother them, because they would have that autonomy, that independence, that ability to be a national brand in a really unique way. So, the way Dennis has reported this story today, it does nothing to make me think that Notre Dame is going to change course and join a conference. Even if NBC can't quite get to that dollar figure in particular, like, well, shoot, some other network might. Who's to say that they couldn't take their product to a streaming platform for a really high dollar amount, when their deal is up in 2025. So I think Notre Dame's in a really good position because there's so many different avenues out there.
They're so wanted, too. They're so wanted.
Yeah. They've got all this
conference.
I would be just as surprised today, if Notre Dame were to end up in a conference during this wave of realignment as I would have been 3-4 years ago. It just, to me, seems like they're in a great position. They've had success on the field. Marcus Freeman is killing it in recruiting. And so long as we don't see some sort of precipitous drop-off on the field for them over the next couple of years, I don't see any reason why their brand would be devalued. And I think they'll still be in a position to remain independent if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. They want to. They absolutely want to remain independent, but you wonder, new governing bodies, potentially, where we're going to go with sort of aligning conferences, how it's going to work. Maybe they will have to join. We'll see, though. David, always appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. You guys enjoy it down there.
Great stuff, David Cobb. David Cobb with us every Monday from CBS Sports. He'll be back with us next week when we're back in Memphis. Look, we all need that great snack on the golf course at home or on the go. Golf Sticks. Golf Sticks Pretzels hits the spot. Go to golfstickspretzels.com and order now. The company is in West Point, Mississippi. Buy it by the case. 3-ounce golf sticks, 12-bag count, 12 individual 3-ounce bags for $24. Buy by the case. 3-ounce case, 36-bag count. 3 ounces per bag, $42. And all the area golf shops like TPC Southwind, Spring Creek, Miramichi, Memphis National, Timber Trust, and, of course, at Old Waverly and Mossy Oak Golf Club with the company right there in West Point, Mississippi. Guaranteed a birdie in every bag. They provide a delicious, healthy snack for athletes, fans, and it promotes the great game of golf. Proven to be the best-tasting pretzels, Golf Sticks Pretzels coated with specialty seasoning, paired with a buttery crunch that will power you through any season. Football season, basketball season, golf season, and hunting season. Make it your second golf bag. Golf Sticks Pretzels, a birdie in every bag. Go to golfstickspretzels.com.
So it looks like everybody's done with their pressers for the day. Eli Drinkwitz is now off of the stage, and I think he's wrapping up his final interview of the day. But it was Mizzou, Ole Miss, and LSU today. We've already talked Mizzou with our man Dave Matter. Coming up next, we get to the LSU side of things with T-Bob Hebert from 104.5 ESPN.
You have opinions?
Well, you gotta have an opinion.
Of course you do. Everyone does. Hit us up on the AutoZone listener line, 360-8255, 360-8255.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around, Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to get conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
When Chef Ryan Trim decided to open 117 Prime, Memphis' premier downtown dining destination, he was determined to make every single aspect of your experience at Prime something unique. You've heard of the huge selection of wine and bourbons at Prime, but they even brought in experts to create cocktails you literally cannot get anywhere else. The Straw Hat with Belvedere Vodka, the Borrowed Trinket with Monk's Road Barrel Aged Gin. That's just 2 of them. There are far too many to be listed here. If you want to try the rest, all you have to do is go to 117 Prime.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
It's time to get road trip ready, and we got it covered at Gossett Kia on the Pike. Let's get 41 MPG Highway in 2022 Kia Forte LSX, $199 a month. Pack some fun in 2023 Kia Soul LX, $248 a month. Both 36-month lease and $27.99 due at signing. And get 3 rows and 7 seats with 2022 Kia Sorento LX, $399. 36-month lease and $34.99 due at signing. And all Gossett Kias come equipped with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. New adventures need a new ride. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
650 acquisition fee, 30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, 0 security deposit. Forte NE 492,084, MSRP 21,065. Soul P 718,7730, MSRP 21,720. Sorrento NG 137,060, MSRP 32,595. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/1/22. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Dad, come on, you're going to fall in the barbecue.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Yeah, we got T-Bob Hebert, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, host of Off the Bench for them. T-Bob, what's happening, man?
Gabe, what's up, bro? I'm chilling, man, enjoying day one of SEC Media Days. I thought Greg Sankey's comments were very interesting. As like every year, I think back to when did he get the job? Like 5 or 6 years ago now, or has it been even longer? I don't even know, but it's like you think about those first press conferences and how he sounded and kind of carried himself, and then how he sounds and carries himself now, and you can see that this is someone who has grown in power in order by multiple orders of magnitude.
But y'all both know it. Coming in as a freshman, then to be an upperclassman, you know what it feels like.
But also all the rounds of realignment and everything that has shooken out, like everything that we've seen happen. I would be as confident as any commissioner in the entire country as well if I was him. I mean, he's
driving the college football bus.
Yes. He is the most powerful guy in college football. And usually when we talk about where college football is headed, if there's going to be a break off, if the NCAA is no longer going to run college football, he's the first or second name you bring up in those conversations.
And so it was interesting to kind of hear him talk about that with, we already are a super conference, few digs kind of at the Big Ten, really emphasizing a contiguous geographical setup. I thought it was also very interesting thinking about him kind of corralling the coaches and basically saying, telling us that he basically had to give the coaches a bit of a talking to. And it's interesting because, you think nowadays, and it wasn't like this when he would have gone in the league, but now probably the only coach that he just can't kind of, completely dominate would be Saban, right? But anybody else, he can go in there and say whatever he wants to them, and they have to. They have to take it.
Saban's the only one that predates him.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. So and Saban has a lot to do with that because as he has many heads put on his wall now.
He has chewed through them.
Yeah,
yes.
For sure.
But at LSU, this is no training wheels massive rebuild for Brian Kelly. I mean, the great coach that he is, he's coming to a program that started with Saban, then Coach Miles, as you know, and then Coach Orgeron. They've all won national titles.
Yeah.
LSU can be back in that mix quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. So, I mean, it's interesting. because it has been the way that I described it is like you ever read about like when you do like a prescribed burning of like an old forest, right? There's like a lot of undergrowth, a lot of detritus. It's kind of choking it. It's not a positive ecosystem, right? So what do you have to do? You have to literally burn it to the ground
to save it.
Yes, to save it, to refuel everything, and that's what LSU did. I mean, that Texas Bowl, they were down to, and a bit of this is inflated because of some other things, like players who are still there now. But for the game day on Texas, they were down to 39 scholarship players.
Yeah,
frightening.
And so, it was truly a prescribed burning. I mean, they. And the other weird part about it was even in like behind the scenes stuff, right? Like the football operations building, there was no. It's the first time there's been wholesale change there, probably since Saban got there in 2000. Like there was a ton of carryover in a lot of those positions from Saban to Miles, even more carryover from Miles to Orgeron, as really that was almost more of like a CEO switch than anything else.
Right.
So you now have a true kind of rebuild restart, but to your point, that's not going to get you a ton of leeway in terms of where the expectation levels are going to be, at least locally, right?
Yeah.
Because you still have a ton of NFL talent. You still have a D-line full of guys with NFL talent.
It's
Great
LSU.
wide receiver.
And we've seen Kelly recruit at other places, and we've seen what he's been able to do as well this offseason.
And that's what's a bit surprising to me about some of the kind of national media takes on LSU right now. It's very rare for LSU to be in this position where they are truly considered to be an underdog. Like
right.
Everybody is choosing him to finish 6th in the West, 7th in the West, 5th in the West. They're not preseason top 25. And I get that in the context of what we just talked about, having to kind of burn it down and start anew. But I think they have more talent than people give credit for. And the other part is, like,
always do.
It's interesting to me when you have like 5-7 Texas, but they recruit well, so they're getting the benefit of the doubt. And then you have like a 4-8 USC who has Lincoln Riley, and now they're in the preseason top 25. It's like LSU just added the winningest active coach in all of college football, like a guy who's dominated everywhere he's been. Like, I'm a little surprised they're not getting more juice, but I talked to Kelly about it this morning. I think that's exactly what they want.
Well, but here's the thing. Like, the thing you've heard this offseason, you've seen Brian Kelly in recruiting videos, whether there's country or rap in the background. It's a little bit awkward. You hear him, the accent change, the whole thing. And people have created this narrative around, well, he doesn't fit. The cultural fit's not right. Do you think at LSU you need to have that cultural fit, or do you think it's fine what he is right now?
I mean, Les Miles was not a cultural fit at all, right?
Coach
that's a Michigan man. Yeah, exactly. So, no, somebody said it today. It might have been Ian Fitzsimmons, but he said, the culture is winning, right?
Right.
Exactly.
100%.
It's like you just said. Like, if you just win, everything else will fall into place.
Winning speaks every language around the globe.
It's very well said. Yes, exactly. And that's what's crazy to me is that is what Brian
even
Kelly
south
has
of
done.
I-10.
But that is. I mean, that's what BK has done his entire career, is just win wherever he's been at. And so, yeah, I mean, think about this. There's no greater commentary on both the potential at LSU and maybe what he perceived to be the ceiling at Notre Dame than the fact that he left a borderline playoff Notre Dame team that finished, 11-2.
He left Notre Dame. They're saying you left Notre Dame in general.
Left there, and then went to a 6-7 LSU team that finished last place in the West. And you got to deal with Nick Saban and Kirby Smart. Like he truly, and look, it doesn't hurt that, Scott Woodward's going to give you free reign and $10 million a year, obviously. But right now,
still
you're
a bold
getting,
hire.
you're getting like a, to me, you're getting like a seasoned old general kind of in his prime, like a Pompey or a Caesar. But the one thing that he's missing from that resume is a Division I national championship. And so this is his, he's basically taking all of his life's knowledge and now trying to apply it to this situation and see if he can get there like the last three coaches have managed to.
Right. Now, as far as the quarterback situation is concerned, Jaden Daniels comes in from Arizona State. Yeah. Miles Brennan there off of a arm surgery. I mean, he's You don't know what he's going to look like.
When he's been
as
in there,
far
he's
as
been good.
He's been good, but
Yeah.
you don't know when someone rehabs and you have a new offensive coordinator come in. You don't know what it's going to be like. What have you been hearing about how that's going to shake itself out?
Not a ton of like I don't think anybody has the outside track, right? I read the inside track. Like, you talk to one person, they'll be like, well, I think this guy. You talk to another, well, I mean, watch out for him, right? I think that my takes on it, I think if I was a betting man and I was forced to place a bet, I would say Miles right now. Kelly has constantly talked about his leadership, and he's got experience on his side. Right? He's an upperclassman, even if he's only started 4 games. Like, Jaden Daniels has more starting experience, but Jaden Daniels in a new situation, new culture, new everything. And it's interesting because Miles is obviously a pure passer, can't really run. Daniels struggles more in the pure pass department, but obviously can run very well. And then the kind of interesting third member of this race is Garrett Nussmeier. And he's interesting because skill-wise, he's kind of a mixture of the two. And he's got he's kind of got that quarterback kind of confidence attitude. And I thought he looked really good in spring. I thought he looked really rhythmic.
Right.
But I don't know if that's going to be enough to overcome it because Miles has a lot of – and then in Jaden Daniels, you have someone who started 30 games, and his freshman stat line is unbelievable.
Yep.
He threw for 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, 2 picks, but he just hasn't been able to
been a weird situation, too. In
it's a weird situation. And honestly, I didn't think he looked particularly impressive in the spring game, but whatever, spring game is what it is. You don't want to overjudge that. And more so than that, it's in terms of potential to show extreme growth, when you consider the fact that he would have showed up and 2 weeks later is having to do a spring, learning the new coaches, learning new town, dealing with culture shock, settling in. Jaden Daniels, you could argue, has the most room to grow very quickly because of the context within which he arrived. So, I mean, it is the only one thing I feel comfortable saying is that they're going to probably redshirt Walker Howard, right? I think he chills for this year. But in terms of Miles, Nuss, and Jaden, has
anybody told Jamie?
It's gonna be a race. Maybe not, right? And maybe Walker just comes out and blows the top off things. That can always happen.
Best plays.
I just don't. What's going to be interesting too is they got to figure it out fast. We talked to the OC Mike Denbrock the other day, and he was basically saying a week and a half into camp, we want to have our guy because they need to start getting the reps. We can't spread these things around. So I'm guessing within that first week, you'll have one guy basically fall off the race, and then the other two will start getting more reps.
And you're not opening with Charleston Southern.
Yeah, you're with Florida
FSU.
State. Yeah, you got a nice. I always like a nice opener, though. I always like a nice opener, and I don't know how coaches feel, but I like a nice opener because it forces you to avoid complacency. You have to come out sharp.
And I think you immediately see what you are on that big stage and in that moment. So last thing before we get you out of here. I know you've been here since.
We just got here last night, but we're going to be here all week.
I'm talking about this morning. I saw you up bright and early. I know you got 7 to 10 normal run time.
Okay, so it's funny because we're 7 to 10, which is already for a morning show kind of late, which is nice. And then it's even nicer here because it's 8 to 11.
Right.
I'm doing a midday show, boys.
Yeah,
so
but you
sleeping in.
I saw you as soon as I got here. You were one of the first in here.
Yeah, we'll be here. I'm about to go. I think I'm going to go take a little break, and then I'll be back hanging out again.
But what do you think the peak is for LSU
this year
and the 2022 season?
I have. It sounds so boring and cliche, but I do have 9. I have 9 and 3.
Okay.
As the ceiling, and then kind of. I mean, I would be surprised. I think 7 and 5 would be the floor. I think if they went 8 and 4, I think the majority of LSU fans would be happy. Now, certainly some people would not be, right? But I think 8 and 4, you're 4 and 4 in the SEC. I think that's solid.
Tell me how it looks.
Yeah, exactly. Depending on how it looks and everything, and the teams you lose to. But 9. If you can go 9 and 3, and then maybe get 10 wins with a bowl game,
I know how that looks.
Yeah, that would be a hell of a statement in year 1 of Brian Kelly. Exactly, that would be a big kind of lookout statement, I would say. But it's just tough, man. The SEC is so good this year, and now you've got other powers rising. Is Ole Miss about to be consistently good? I mean, it's a big prove-it year for them as well. But yeah, I mean, Mississippi State can be sneaky even. I mean, who knows what Auburn's going to be. And then, of course, you got Alabama, A&M. And then Arkansas is legitimately good now. So, I mean, it's just such a tough league right now. And especially the West itself is so tough. And so, yeah, ceiling, I'd say 9-3.
I got you. He is T-Bob Hebert, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. You can follow him on Twitter at T-Bob53. T-Bob, appreciate it, man.
Hell yeah, boys. Thank you all so much, man. This is super fun.
It's a great time. Now, it is so uncommon for an LSU team, and it's truly what it feels like. It's so uncommon for an LSU team to really be kind of under the radar. Like, is that how we term it? Because it feels like a lot of people are going to write them off in a lot of ways this year, when in reality, I think they could be a very good team in year one with Brian Kelly.
Be very careful. That big opener against FSU, much discussed, that Sunday night of the long Labor Day weekend after we've had games Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That game on Sunday. Ole Miss played in that game last year on Monday, and you sit and watch a lot of football itching to play until you finally get on the field. Then week 2 for LSU, they play the Southern Jags right there in Baton Rouge, and then home against Mississippi State. And that's a point in the season. If State's been good, I go back to 2014 in Dak. They got as high as number 1 in the country that year.
Yep.
They went down there and pulled that upset against a kind of preseason template that LSU's now facing. But no, LSU's never off the radar. It's LSU. All those players, that expectation, those fans, that stadium, those facilities. And T-Bob, great explanation on how it's finally turned the entire athletics department over with these coaching changes.
But they were 6-7 a year ago. And they did, to be honest with you, they didn't have a grown-up as the head coach. They didn't have a coaching staff that was really fully going to get them over the hump last year. It just feels like coming into this year, all of the off-season stuff, all of the fit discussion about Brian Kelly has overshadowed what this team actually could be. And I think he said nine wins as a potential peak for LSU. I don't think that's far off. I think there is potential for that. And we're going to go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, Brian Kelly spoke. First SEC Media Days, he was the newcomer. He got to field all of the questions, and there were a lot of them. And he had some interesting answers, including one about his potential fit at LSU and one about Notre Dame and what they could be in regards to aligning with the conference. We'll do that when we come back.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's been said that the world always looks brighter from behind a smile. So why not let my friend, Dr. Mehdi Sadeghi, and his friendly staff at the Smile Center Memphis help brighten up your world. The Smile Center is a local family dentistry located in Germantown, specializing in cosmetic crown veneers, teeth whitening, and Invisalign clear braces, all with free consultation and second opinions. New patients are welcome, and if you don't have dental insurance, don't frown. They have an in-office plan to fit your specific needs. Same-day emergency service available as well. Give Mehdi a call, 309-1333, or visit their website at smilecentermemphis.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. Have you been turned down by your homeowner's insurance in the past 12 months for damage you believe you're owed? Call Brian Elder Roofing now. Our professionals will do a no-obligation, thorough evaluation of your property and document all damage we find. Our fully certified Hague inspectors are trained to identify storm damage to assess and build a full estimate in a language your carrier will understand. If there is no damage found, we will tell you just that. We build a data file of your actual storm damage for your carrier, all at no cost to you, free. So call now for your comprehensive roof guarantee from Brian Elder Roofing. Call us, 867-0303. That's 867-0303, or schedule online at brianelderroofing.com. Because if you think it's a claim, we'll help you show it's a claim.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
It's
It's time to get road trip ready, and we got it covered at Gossett Kia on the Pike. Let's get 41 MPG Highway in 2022 Kia Forte LSX, $199 a month. Pack some fun in 2023 Kia Soul LX, $248 a month. Both 36-month lease and $27.99 due at signing. And get 3 rows and 7 seats with 2022 Kia Sorento LX, $399. 36-month lease and $34.99 due at signing. And all Gossett Kias come equipped with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. New adventures need a new ride. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
650 acquisition fee, 30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, 0 security deposit. Forte NE 492,084, MSRP 21,065. Sold P718,7730, MSRP 21,720. Sorrento NG 137,060, MSRP 32,595. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/1/22. Dealer stock only.
Brett Norsworthy here. Join me with Gabe Kuhn for SEC Media Days, July 18th through the 21st at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. Sports Time with Gabe and Stats will be there with conference insiders, players, and coaches. All-day coverage all week long from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. from SEC Media Days. Brought to you by First National Bank and Trust, Landers Ford in Collierville, Mossy Oak Golf Club, Memphis Tourism, Ronnie Grizzani, Schools, Belly Acres, The Commissary, Golf Sticks Pretzels, and Quick Close Sale.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
How do you want that cooked? Burnt to a crisp or bloody as hell?
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
We will hear from Coach Brian Kelly, the new head coach of the LSU Tigers, fresh from Notre Dame. That's coming up momentarily. But first, let me tell you, and Tiger fans, I want you to listen to me because this is the perfect stay-in-play for that big opening weekend when the Tigers travel to Starkville. You got to head to Mossy Oak Golf Club. It's nature's golf, the connection with nature in West Point, Mississippi, right there at Starkville at Mossy Oak Golf Club, the combined philosophy of the George Bryan family. Of course, architect Gil Hansen, the #1 brand in outdoors, Mossy Oak, they have delivered the full experience. Guests are greeted with the gentle charm of the region. In partnership with Old Waverly, the two courses deliver an unrivaled golfing experience. The only location in the Mid-South for 2 top 100 courses right there across the street in one location, across the road from each other. The cottages at Mossy Oak open to the golf course, spacious accommodations. Contact Claire Ferguson at 662-495-5082 or at mossyoakgolf.com. Also, Razorback fans, when they play down there October 8th, what a great long weekend that would be for Razorback fans to stay and play at Mossy Oak Golf Club. For football trips, businesses wanting to have a company retreat, this is the place to go. Contact Claire Ferguson, Sales and Marketing Manager at 662-495-5082 or go to mossyoakgolf.com.
Now, if you want to hit us up, you know where to find us. AutoZone listener lines, 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Also, you can message us on our socials, Sports56 WHPQ, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Now, Brian Kelly got up to the podium. First SEC Media Days, and I think he handled it relatively well. Now, he was first asked about his fit and his potential fit. We've talked about the offseason, him dealing with pronouncing words differently, him dealing with that type of thing. The first question he was asked was about his fit at LSU. This is what he had to say.
Well, I think fit is about, the ability to run a program, at the highest level. I've done it for 32 years. I've had success at Notre Dame, Cincinnati, Central Michigan, wherever I've been. So, running a program and then, developing players, player development. I think those are the most important thing. And I don't think that needs to be, geographical in a sense. I've gotten to love where I'm at in Baton Rouge. I love the people. They love football. They love family. And they love food. And that fits me really well. So I guess I should have been in the South all along.
All right.
Come on down.
A little much at the end. But, hey, he's dead right. And I don't know how many times we have to say it, Brett. 166-62 as a D1 football coach, 113-40 as a Notre Dame football coach. His resume is following him, and the fact that the question has to be about a regional fit, about if he's going to relate to players, I don't think it matters. Players see the resume, see what he can get, what he can do for them. Can he get them to the NFL? Yes. Can he win ball games? Yes. Can you compete for a potential national championship? At Notre Dame, he made it to the playoff. Yes, he checks all the boxes. I don't know why the questions are really being asked.
They were preposterous and so overdone in the affirmative, in the positive, trying to make the case for Ed Orgeron being the perfect fit there, and they sure are now.
And he was a good fit from what they're talking about
for a little while.
If it's about being regional and knowing where you're at in the world and relating to people in that area, he understood it. But you have to win consistently year after year after year.
You do, and at LSU they expect it, and Nick Saban restarted it. But here's Brian Kelly since 2017. 10-3 in 2017, 2018, 12-1, 2019, 11-2, 2020, 10-2. And you can dislodge that from Notre Dame? It's remarkable. It's remarkable.
It is. It is. Now, also, speaking of Notre Dame, lead me right into the second sound we pulled. Brian Kelly, obviously coming straight from there, was asked about Notre Dame and potential alignment with a conference. This is what he said.
Certainly Notre Dame still is a coveted, university in terms of, what conference would want them. Jack Swarbrick knows what he's doing. He's got his ear to the ground. They're going to land into a good position no matter what they do, whether they stay independent or whether they go into the, one of the other conferences. Notre Dame can carry itself pretty good.
Now,
I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, they'll be good regardless. The news today, though, right after Brian Kelly got done at the podium, Dennis Dodd reporting from CBS Sports. We talked about it with David Cobb. Notre Dame seeking $75 million in a TV rights fee as far as a payout is concerned every single year. And this could be NBC, this could be somebody else, but I guess face value of that number that's being reported wasn't crazy to us. We had a conversation, was not an outlandish number.
And isn't that something in college sports now? $75 million doesn't even make us blink.
Right.
And we're so desensitized.
But also we're talking about one program. One program.
What they want to make in TV was the original Jimbo package to get him to leave FSU, $75 million.
Now, what do you think, though? What is your gut telling you about Notre Dame conference alignment and where they'll end up?
They wait and get the best deal out there, and I don't blame them.
You don't know if it may not be. It could be independent. It could be Big Ten, SEC. Everything's open. Everything's open. No, they're going to take the money. They're going to take the best situation for them.
They'll make a smart deal.
Yes, they will. I have no doubt about that. Now, that'll do it for hour number 2. Hour number 3 on the way. We've had Mizzou talk. We talked with Dave Matter. We've had LSU talk. We talked with T-Bob Hebert. Now we're on to Ole Miss. Coming up next, Richard Cross joins us.
It's time to take it on at Gossett Mitsubishi's summer sales event. You need a new ride? We Gossett covered. Don't fret about gas mileage on your summer vacation. Get 39 MPG combined with 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage, $219 a month or $17,015. Take sporty to a new level with 2023 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. 28 MPG combined, $349 a month or buy for $27,335. Plus, 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander, 7 seats, $409 a month or $31,795. And get peace of mind with our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Home 75 months at 3.69. Mirage NH00 6956. MSRP 17515. Eclipse PZ 00747. MSRP 28085. Outlander NZO 78023. MSRP 32295. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax filing license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/1/22. Dealer stock only.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully because now there are new regenerative treatments available here. Hi, this is Greg Gaston. QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, is now open, giving lasting relief to people with joint pain using the latest in precision medicine with natural biologics. It's an exciting non-surgical approach that can restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints and get you moving again. QC Kinetics has over 100 clinics nationwide and has treated thousands of patients with an incredible success and satisfaction rate. If you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, you need to check out these new treatments. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, no surgery. Call now to schedule your free consultation with the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. 901-445-1010. That's 901-445-1010. 901-445-1010.
It's time to vacation at home with Family Leisure. That's right. Enjoy a vacation in your own backyard with a little help from Family Leisure. Like play gyms and trampolines, they're now $500 off. And those trampolines, by the way, they've got that mesh on the side, so trampolines are now safe, and you'll be the hit of the neighborhood. They've got hot tubs in stock and ready to go, and you can get up to $1,000 off when you pick them up. All kinds of do-it-yourself pool specials, like savings of up to $1,500 on all in-stock pools when you pick it up and install them yourself. And if you're looking for patio furniture, then stop on in, because they have tons in stock and they're ready for you to pick up. So get ready for that vacation at home with the help from Family Leisure. Family Leisure's Vacation at Home sale. It's happening right now at Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun truly do come together.
There are a lot of people today that say they will buy your home, but there's one company that follows through every time. When you want to make a deal for real money, go with the real deal guys who will make you money. Go with Quick Close Sell Memphis. Quick Close Sell will respect you with a solid offer. No matter the property, no matter the situation, Quick Close Sell will pay you a fair price quickly and easily. For a no obligation offer, go to QuickCloseSell.com and Frank will call you right away. That's QuickCloseSell.com before you sell your home.
First National Bank and Trust, with its roots in Eastern Arkansas as a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, now firmly in West Tennessee. Eastern Arkansas's largest independently owned bank now in West Tennessee. First National Bank and Trust, with offices at 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, 901-498-5763, and in Collierville. First National Bank and Trust focuses on their clients in the Mid-South with all their banking needs. Personal banking, business banking, and online banking, and the mobile app. Courage and confidence has been displayed by First National Bank and Trust officers throughout its history. In good times and in challenging times, First National Bank and Trust has been recognized as one of the most progressive banking institutions in the country. Commercial, residential, recreational, customers depend on First National Bank and Trust because they know real estate. 901-498-5763. And contact Brooks Winchester or any member of the First National Bank and Trust team.
Hey, Jeff Allen, could things get any hotter in Memphis? Summer's here and I'm ready for a road trip.
Then come see me at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah, where the deals are hotter than the weather. 2022 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, and a 2023 Kia Soul LX, $248 a month. Both 36-month lease and $27.99 due at signing.
Hey, Jeff, I got to bring the family.
You need 3 rows and 7-passenger seating. 2022 Kia Sorento LX, $339, 36-month lease and $34.99 due at signing.
And your Kias are always equipped with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com. 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 per year, 26 excess mileage, 0 security deposit. Forte Indy 492,084, MSRP 21,065. Sold P718,7730, MSRP 21,720. Sorrento NG 137,060, MSRP 32,595. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/1/22. Dealer stock only.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Make them drive the car. Make them touch it. Feel it.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Yeah. Richard Cross does work for the Ole Miss Radio Network and Super Talk Mississippi. He joins us now. Richard, how are you?
Great, guys. Good to be here at Media Days.
Absolutely.
Ole Miss Day today.
Yeah, it sure is.
Lane Kiffin came and conquered, and conquest made, Richard.
Yeah, and, didn't say anything too outlandish, which I think the commissioner has made it abundantly clear that nobody is to say anything too outlandish today. But, this is fun. I know people love to use the cliche about it being the unofficial start to the college football season. We got a little bit of work that we got to do between now and then to get to the start of the season. But for me, on the calendar, it's always been if we can get past the 4th of July, kind of that next week you start thinking about it. And it's crazy. 7 weeks from this past Saturday, we're inside Vaughn-Hemingway Stadium.
And a short sprint in the Ole Miss world because still absolutely in the honeymoon phase of a national championship.
Ole Miss won a national championship.
Yes, sir.
What sport was that in?
You see this glow I still have? You got
it was just an absolutely incredible run. Could not be any more happy for Mike Bianco and his wife Cammie and that entire program. Been so close so many times, and to be able to
finally.
And when I say close, I don't mean like close in Omaha. I mean like close to Omaha. Obviously, only the second trip, with the other being in 2014. But what a magical run, and kind of the way that it unfolded, right, where they had to go on the road for a regional, and they played really, really well in Miami, down in Coral Gables. They go to Hattiesburg and just absolutely dominant on the mound. And they get in, and, you look at the draw that they had kind of in retrospect, and it's okay, Auburn, that's a team that you felt good about beating. That game on Thursday against Arkansas was for the national championship.
That was it.
Right.
Arkansas or Ole Miss was going to carry the trophy.
Title.
Yeah, it was. And
Arkansas knew it.
They did. Yeah, they absolutely did. And I think probably made it even more difficult for Dave Van Horn and that crew to swallow. Guys, the Saturday game of the championship series was the most – I don't want to be hyperbolic and I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. I'm a baseball guy, like you, Brett. We've talked about that for forever. It was one of the coolest events I have ever been at. And Mike Bianco said that night, it felt like a football game. It absolutely felt and sounded like an SEC Saturday night. And I bumped into an old Oklahoma fan at the concession stand right before that first game began. And he looked at me and he said, "We've got a lot of people here." I said, "We do." And his response was, if this were football, it'd be different for us. And I looked at him, I said, if this were football, it'd be different for Ole Miss too, bud.
That's right.
Because this 25,000 you see times two.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it would be different. It's going to be different with OU coming in soon. Was the back-to-back out-of-body experience. in Richard, all the sports you've seen and you've called, attended, played in, was that just
that was insanity.
Unbelievable.
Pure, unfiltered insanity.
I'm just going to be completely honest here for a second. I went to Omaha as nothing more than a fan. I tried, from a work standpoint to turn that off and to, kind of play it down the middle and treat a broadcast, whether it's you and I working together on an Ole Miss broadcast or SEC Network or ESPN, whatever it is. I try to treat that the way that I believe it should be handled. But you know what? My degree is from Ole Miss, and we moved to Oxford when I was 8, and I started buying season baseball tickets all by myself with my lawn cutting money when I was 11 years old on the faculty discount that my mom got. And doggone it, I let it fly. I let it fly, and it was so much fun.
3 Ole Miss degrees in your house. You got 1, your wife's got 2.
Yeah. She got 2 in the time that it took me to get 1. But, yes, you are absolutely right.
The change for Mike Bianco, though, in that time period from the sort of middle of the season to where he is now.
From Grove Bowl weekend.
I mean, we're talking about job security through the roof. Compared to then, you had people calling for a potential change at some point. I mean, that's a crazy turn of events.
What happened? And look, we can tiptoe around it all we want, but it wasn't just people. A change was happening.
Right,
that it was going to happen. Right up until the point where it wasn't. And I heard somebody describe that Mike Bianco as a player. When you looked at him from a stature standpoint, everybody's got that famous image of Mike and Ben McDonald standing on the mound. He's always been a little bit scrappy, always been a little bit of an underdog. He didn't start out at a blue blood LSU. He started out at a junior college and worked his way to that. And back against the wall, Mike Bianco, I'm not sure is a Mike Bianco that you want to have to fight against, and so incredibly happy for him.
To football 2022, it's been the problem for a lot of Ole Miss coaches. The EKG, high, low, high, low. How does Lane Kiffin build off 10-3?
I don't think you have to replicate 10-3 for this to be a successful year. I mean, the reality is Ole Miss's roster on a year-in, year-out basis does not look the same as Alabama's roster or Georgia's roster on a year-in, year-out basis. This is like two or three things rolled into the question that you're asking. Lane Kiffin has chosen a different route in terms of roster building. And I'm kind of weary of the conversation or the de facto answer that, you can't sustain building a roster through the transfer portal. Well, how the heck do you know that? Because transfer portal's been here for 2 years?
Sample size small.
And the small sample size has showed.
And I've seen some good rosters built through the transfer portal.
Well, yeah, and I mean, Ole Miss's roster has gotten to a place that it has not been previously because of that. And I think if you're being honest, you look at Ole Miss and you go, okay, they're not going to recruit a class that is number 2 or number 3 in the country that is made up of 80% 4- and 5-star players. So they're being more selective when they go through the high school recruiting process, and they're kind of cherry picking or really casting a wider net, I should say, in the transfer portal. And that has allowed Ole Miss to get to a roster position that is better overall than it has been. 10 wins, the most in the regular season in school history, right? I mean, we've talked about that a time or two a year ago. And so saying, they're going to win 10 this year, I mean, that seems a little short-sighted to do it. But the schedule is built in a way this season where there is an opportunity to get off to a really good start.
Yep.
And I was not trying to be not illiterate, but alliterate earlier, but I said it gives you the opportunity to build chemistry, to build continuity, and to build confidence. So there's your alliteration with the 3 C's. Maybe that makes me a preacher this morning or not.
I love it.
But it gives you the opportunity to build those 3 things over the course of the first 6 weeks of the season before you turn into that home stretch, and you've got Alabama, and you've got LSU, and you've got Texas A&M, and you've got Mississippi State. And so there's no question that's a difficult finishing stretch when you look at the backside of the schedule. But this is the right year to have the front side of it a little bit easier. You can feel good about quarterback play, and you can feel healthy. I mean, I certainly don't think that 8 is crazy, and I don't think 9's insane.
I certainly don't think that as well, but it's a different. You're grading on a different curve this year, considering all of what you had last year, linebacking core all together. You're going to have to replace 200 tackles on the defensive side of the ball. You have to replace an offensive coordinator, and not to mention the quarterback. I should have led with that with Matt Corral, but you have different sort of important positions being ran by different guys. And I think the other thing you have to look at is the offensive coordination and the defensive coordination. What do you think about Charlie Weiss Jr. on the offensive side, and then Mo Crum, Chris Partridge, sort of co-defensive coordinators?
So on the offensive side with Charlie Weiss Jr., I mean, obviously Lane Kiffin is going to have a role in what they're doing offensively. But the fact that they've got a previous relationship, and that's the route that he went, makes me believe that that's a relationship that can work.
Right.
Charlie Weiss Jr. kind of hit the ground running in terms of recruiting, and I think philosophically this will be Lane Kiffin's offense, and people want to go, who calls the plays? It doesn't matter who calls the plays. There's a philosophy to what they are doing offensively, and the hallmark of what Lane Kiffin has done offensively wherever he has been is make the most out of the players you've got that can make plays. Mm-hmm. Whether you're talking about Blake Sims playing quarterback as Alabama after being a backup running back and becoming the single-season passing leader, or running an entire offense through Calvin Ridley, or having 3 different offensive philosophies in 3 years at FAU, fast forward to Matt Corral and exploiting what he's able to do. So that on the offensive side I think will be okay. I'm giving Lane Kiffin the benefit of the doubt offensively until proven otherwise. I thought in the spring, and Brett, you were there for this, kind of watching things through the spring, thought they were a little bit more aggressive on the defensive side with Chris Partridge.
A little more hair on fire.
Right.
And is that going to be a good thing? Maybe. But there was nothing that jumped off the page of me that said, you know what, DJ Durkin going to Texas A&M and Chris Partridge now calling plays on the defensive side is going to cause this group to take a huge step back. In fact, if you think about last year, they were better when they got more aggressive on the defensive side in the second half of last season.
Well, kind of played on the heels against Arkansas, and they ring up 52. You have to hang on to win. To win by they score 51. Have to hang on to win 52-51.
Only got one stop.
That was it, and it was the most important one of the year because it's how fragile games are. Richard, I say this, and I don't mean it as any shot. It's really more praiseworthy to Alabama, Georgia, most years LSU. We kind of expect A&M, but that might be a different subject matter. But for Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, maybe even Auburn, maybe even Tennessee, South Carolina, Kentucky, got to thread the needle. A lot has to go right to win 10 games. That's no shot at anyone. That's just a recognition of where we stand, I think.
The SEC's not easy.
No.
Newsflash, I'm glad we were able to break that.
That's hashtag analysis.
Yeah,
right there. I like
and when you're talking about the SEC West, you got 6 of those every year, and you got a little bit of crossover that's mixed in. And Ole Miss is fortunate that Vanderbilt is in the crossover piece this season, and it's not it's not Georgia that you're playing on the other side, but. Well, I mean, it's Vanderbilt and Kentucky, right? And if we're going to that schedule card that you've got right there,
right,
and you want to circle a date, I'm going to tell you the date to circle. It's October 1st because that is a massive game. It's the SEC opener in Oxford. There'll be 62,000 people there. It's going to be an incredible atmosphere. I think that's going to end up as a night kickoff, and that game is huge, not only for Ole Miss but for Kentucky as well.
It is huge. All right, I've told Gabe all offseason, that was a great running back room last year. One thing they did so well, they protected the ball.
They did.
Never fumbled. This running back room can be better. That's for speculation. Here's 2 things I want you to say, agree or disagree. I think it can be the best offensive line in Ole Miss football history, and I think it can be the best secondary in Ole Miss football history. Agree or disagree on either?
Ever and never a long time, Brett. You give me these big sweeping statements that are fact-based and are knowledge-based and are from your library of knowledge, and my only response is, ever and never are a long
big
time.
Big words.
On the offensive line, I think you've got 2 potential All-SEC guys in Nick Broker and Jeremy James, and so that's a good starting point. There have been some good offensive line groups through the years. I want to be with you on the defensive secondary, and this is still kind of a little bit of a recency bias, but I'm thinking about a back end of a defense that included Sinquez Golson and Cody Pruitt and Mike Hilton.
Yeah, in 14 and 15.
And so
I played against those guys.
If you are convinced that this group is better than that group, then I can't wait to see what this looks like on the field. I'm with you.
All right.
Yeah.
Now,
but certainly some veterans back there and some guys they believe in.
He's told me several times about the quarterback situation. Luke Altmaier, Jackson Dart, right this second. In spring, apparently Luke looked good, and Luke had a little bit more command than what we saw in the bowl game. What is your feel on how the quarterback situation is going to play out?
I mean, I should have a better answer ready for this. Like as we talk about it and we talk to. So
mine's though if the season's starting tomorrow, and it's not.
Yeah, it's not. I mean,
fall camp shows you a lot.
The one thing that I think to be fair about Luke Altmaier is we need to remember that he was highly recruited. Like there are a lot of people that wanted Luke Altmaier coming out of
Starkville Yellow Jackets.
Coming out of Starkville
4-star
High.
recruit.
Yeah.
He had some nice moments in the Sugar Bowl. I don't think there's any question that there's more arm talent there with Jackson Dart. I think Jackson Dart is who Lane Kiffin would like to win the job, but he's got to protect the football because Stetson Bennett, the fourth at Georgia last year, showed us that you don't have to be Justin Fields. You don't have to be Matt Stafford to win a national championship. I'm not comparing those two, but Stetson Bennett didn't turn the ball over. He took care of it. He got Georgia into the right situations. He took care of took advantage of big plays.
Steady and on schedule
when they were there. My guess is that when it is all said and done, Jackson Dart ends up being the quarterback.
Right.
But if you tell me that Luke Altmaier ends up not only earning this job but not letting go of it, I'm not shocked.
I hear you.
How's that for straddling the fence?
Yeah, we'll see.
I love it.
We'll see.
You know I'm ready.
Yeah, it's going to be something. But that's where we'll leave it. Richard, appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us.
I wish we weren't on at the same time every day, guys. It'd be fun to do this more often.
Yeah, it would. It would be fantastic.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Richard.
Now, change is something that Ole Miss is going to have to deal with.
And Tony Connor in that secondary, too.
Oh, yeah.
If he hadn't got hurt, he would have been the one that would have been the best NFL player out of the group.
That was a heck of a secondary.
Oh, it sure
was. A lot of guys. But if a change is going to be necessitated this year, it's here, right? And you're going to have to find different ways, if you're Ole Miss, to replicate some of the production that you got, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, I really like what Lane Kiffin's done. He runs the ball. He likes to run the ball. He has a great running back room that he feeds. Regardless of who's at quarterback, I feel like he has given them a safety blanket, especially the O-line. The O-line does not have young guys on it. Mason Brooks is a senior. He's a transfer. Eli Acker is a redshirt sophomore, been on campus for 3 years. Caleb Warren, redshirt junior. Nick Broker, senior. Jeremy James, redshirt junior. He's been there forever. So they have that safety blanket to lean on. And I think even wide receiver-wise, Jalen Robinson was good at UCF. Jonathan Mingo's been around. When he's been healthy, he's been good and productive. Malik Heath from Mississippi State. I think they have a hold on what they want to do offensively, but defensively is where I have my concerns because DJ Durkin's out the door, and from a star player production standpoint, you have to replace a lot. Sam Williams is gone, 12.5 sacks, 15 tackles for loss. Chance Campbell, he was awesome, 109 plus tackles, whatever it was.
Lined up, right?
Yes, and then Mark Robinson right there with 90 some odd tackles. It's 200 tackles worth of production you have to replace. And I just wonder, especially with DJ Durkin out and having two different sort of coordinators, co-coordinators, trying to make a brainchild out of this thing, I just wonder how it's going to hold up, especially early in the season.
And Chance Campbell came largely to play for DJ Durkin. They had the relationship
Yep.
at Maryland, and that's the way of the world now. Used to we'd say goodbye on senior day. Now we're saying goodbye and hello all the time to players coming in and out with the revolving door of NIL and player liberation, player freedom. So you never know when it might be somebody's last game. You mentioned Malik Heath, and it's gonna come the day that the hero of the Egg Bowl the year before will be playing on the other team the next year.
Isn't that bizarre?
It's coming in the Iron Bowl. It's coming in the cocktail party. It's coming in all these rivalries, and that's going to be hard for fans to accept. I had some of my Ole Miss friends after Malik Heath announced he was coming there, and I said, don't enjoy this too much. It's going to happen. It's going to happen to Ole Miss one of these years. You're going to look up and see a guy that you liked, that you thought was a Reb for life, and you look up and you see him at Starfield the next year.
Well, it goes around. It comes back around quickly.
It does.
You always say that, and I agree with you every single time. Now, quarterbacks.
Just don't gloat too much.
Quarterbacks. I know you have said if the season started today, Luke Altmaier, and it doesn't. You had fall camp is really where you
mean
set
the season starting on that field here at the College Football Hall
They probably
of Fame?
could. They could probably have a nice little practice going.
Run some out routes.
Yeah. Well, the out routes might be a struggle
Yeah.
unless they go wide ways. But Luke Altmaier, you say, would probably be the guy if it started today. Jackson Dart is a guy, though, that was brought in to immediately be productive, to immediately sort of step in. And obviously, I think it's hard for anybody to fill the shoes of Matt Corral and what he meant. And
he wanted his number, though. So
yes.
he's embracing it.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for anyone to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. I
But he's
really
got to
am
be
curious.
Jackson Dart. He can't be Matt Corral.
The spring told one story, and it told you that Luke Altmaier was the more ready, especially in the Lane Kiffin system,
more
quarterback.
confident.
Does fall camp tell another story?
It could get down to it, and you want lively competition. But like I was talking earlier about these depth charts around quarterbacks, well, if Jackson Dart wasn't the starter, what keeps him at Oxford?
Yeah, that's a good question. And
He came to be the starting quarterback,
and they don't have depth at that. If he was out, they don't have depth at that position.
At least Luke Altmaier, in-state youngster.
And
Dad, by the way, is the team orthopedist at Mississippi State.
And Richard made a great point about Luke Altmaier. Like, people are looking at Luke Altmaier, sophomore, and they're saying, oh, well, behind Matt Corral, we don't know what the expectations of the guy should be. He was a 4-star quarterback recruit.
Yeah, big time.
He was a guy that was wanted around the country.
Team.
It's not like this guy was a 2-star, barely made the. He wasn't the last guy in that class. So Luke Altmaier, if he does indeed win that job, I don't think it should be immediately push panic.
I'm not holding you to it. We'll do this as we get closer to opening day. These are not the indelible ink picks. Just stop me when there's a loss in this first 7 for Ole Miss. Troy, Central Arkansas, Georgia Tech, Tulsa, Kentucky,
I
Oxford.
worry about
Kentucky,
it. It's in Oxford,
Kentucky
but I worry about them.
Me too, and Richard just highlighted that. Vanderbilt in Nashville, Auburn in Oxford.
Lost to Auburn last year.
Sure did.
Ugly. And Auburn, I know will have talent, but it's a totally different year now, and it's going to be hard.
Not on the plains.
And we also know what happened this offseason is going to be really hard to – it's hard to focus a team after what happened with Brian Harsin.
But a lot of years at Ole Miss, how many Ole Miss fans go, boy, for 5-2 at that point? And most this year are expecting
6-1
at least, or 7.
I think 6-1,
and that's what 5-5 and 10-3 would do for you. The last 2 years under Coach Lane Kiffin. This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area at 5704 Goodman Road and online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience you've come to know, love, and trust. All the cars test-driven, all checked out thoroughly, bumper to bumper, head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll go find that special car just for you. You're treated like family at DeSoto Auto Sales by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere. They care about your time. They want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we live in a world today where time really matters, and that's why they have streamlined the process, simplified it for you. It's a guarantee. You find the car you want, test drive it. Paperwork completed, credit approved. You're out of there in 45 minutes or less. Go online. Check out all the referrals at DeSotoAutoSales.com or get down to Goodman Road to DeSoto Auto Sales for that town and country experience.
Now, Greg Sankey was obviously the first to speak. He gave sort of the state of the SEC, discussed a lot of different things, including NIL. He talked about OU and Texas when they will potentially join, talked about scheduling. We will talk about all of that and what he had to say next.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
It's time for another season of golf at Miramichi. You know the spot, 15 minutes north of downtown in Woodstock. I call it heaven. It's 330 acres of natural beauty, 7,400 yards of championship-level golf, but there are several different tee boxes which make it fun or competitive for every level of golf. And the practice facilities are as good as any country club, and every round of golf comes with a cart and complimentary range balls. You can really improve your game, and you'll love the prices, too. Seniors can play Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for as low as $33. Again, the golf cart and the range balls are thrown in. The standard weekday rates are as low as $44. Friday, it's $50, and on Sunday, it's $55. You'll love the view from the terrace. You look out and see the best view in all of Shelby County. The whole experience, it's just fantastic. Go check it out yourself at Miramichi.
Progressive presents Don't Do It Yourself.
Okay, simple enough. Just got to get in there with my screwdriver. Do you mind handing me my screwdriver?
Are you trying to say screwdriver?
Well, I mean, you're saying it weird, but yeah, sure.
Look, maybe we should bundle our home and auto with Progressive. We could save big, then pay someone to install this for us so you don't have to pretend you can.
I know my way around a screwdriver. Oh, yeah. This is going to take a Philippe's head for sure.
Save when bundling home and auto with Progressive and use the money to, not do it yourself. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We've all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, that's not possible. There are aerial pictures that can be taken every 4 years that can be used to measure most buildings, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one looking at pictures that could be 4 years old. If you'd rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, give us a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best service we know how to give. 5S Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. 5S Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5S Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Let's talk some numbers here.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
I used to feel so devastated.
30 minutes left in today's show. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He is Stats back home in Memphis. In the Family Leisure Studios is our good friend and producer, Bryant Dacus. We're here for SEC Media Days. It is day one, and we have already gotten to just about everybody who has discussed it, who has talked today as far as the teams are concerned. We had Ole Miss, we had LSU, and we had Mizzou. But Greg Sankey opened up the day, and we talked about it to open the show, Brett. It was a pronounced confidence with his comments, but at the same time, it was unbelievably measured. Didn't say too much, didn't say too little. He erred on the side of little, though, saying too little. But the confidence about him and the way he carried himself, I thought, was different than what we've seen in the past.
Yeah, he knows the eyes of the college football world. Heck, the sports world, because Gabe, and tomorrow he's going to join us at 4:30.
Right.
And I don't want to try to embarrass anyone whatsoever, but you could argue an American sport right now, Goodell, Silver, Sankey, in that order of chieftains, of getting it done.
Dare I say, and here's look, and I think Silver
I saw the opening to take a crack at Manfred, didn't I?
I think Silver deserves his credit. I don't want to take anything away from the NBA and what Adam Silver has done.
Getting through COVID, if nothing else, the bubble.
I agree with your sentiment. But Greg Sankey, running college football the way he is, with the ratings of college football, with the money that college football brings in, I think there's an argument for Sankey over Silver.
Could be. It sure could.
I think it's close. I'm not saying in certainties. You can't talk in certainties. It's certainly opinionated, but I think there's a case there.
Bowie Kuhn, Peter Uberoth, and Kennesaw Mountain Landis just rolled over in their collective graves. Manfred, what you've done to baseball should be ashamed.
Yeah, golly. Did you watch? By the way, I know I opened it, and I know it's a sidebar.
Opening to take a crack at Manfred,
did you? And I know it's a sidebar, and we're gonna get back to Sankey. We have some sound to play. Did you watch MLB draft last night?
I tried to. He's just insufferable.
He's terrible, and he doesn't have to say anything for me to get angry with him. He's got
that look on his face.
Yeah,
you know?
wipe that thing.
Wipe that look off your face.
All right. Back to Sankey, though. He also went into talking about no sense of urgency and expanding past 16. We've talked about it, Brett. If Notre Dame comes calling,
you take the call.
Yes. And also, if the Big Ten decides to expand more and get to 20, you start to have to weigh your options. I mean, it is what it is.
Counter move.
It doesn't matter. I personally don't think 16's the end. I don't think you think 16's the end. But right now, no sense of urgency.
I'll play along.
Moving past 16. Also, clear enforceable NIL laws is what he's calling for. He says the patchwork of state laws always is going to be the worst system. I said this with David Cobb, and I still stand by it. Well, yeah, of course I still stand by those an hour and a half ago. But I just get scared if you try to limit, if you try to pull back the reins of power that these athletes have.
That's not how freedom works.
I think that leads you in a direction.
That's not free in freedom, is it?
I think that leads you in a direction of a lot of destruction, litigation, the whole 9 yards.
No question. I mean, you could then really open yourself up because once the wall came down, it doesn't go back up.
Well, when we talk enforceable NIL laws and we talk about what NIL laws, we're what is the discussion going to be around? Is it limits? Is it who you can and can't do business with? Is it
the amount?
The amount when you can make these deals. What sport? I don't think, and that's really what it's become. I talked about this on Friday with Brian. Is the discussion around NIL guidelines, guardrails? You always hear those terms. It's about limiting the athlete. That's the context it's being used in.
Yeah, we're paying you too much.
But I don't think that you can at this point with the freedom you've shown them.
I don't think you cap it.
You can't take it back. You just can't without something bad happening.
If you think players are skipping bowls now,
oh gosh, try taking away dollars.
And you're seeing
take stuff off their plate.
You're seeing a lot more advancement of the possibility of bowl games having to pay players to come and play in their games.
And I really do think we ultimately end up, it feels like we have to ultimately end up with players being seen as employees, right? I mean, it just seems like that's one of the, and it may be what people would term as an unintended consequence, whether you do have to get taxed. Your scholarship will be taxable. Everything will be taxable. But the way we're progressing in this and the way that both sides are talking about workforce and everything else, it feels like that's the end result.
And, Gabe, it's still hard to believe for me. And you saw Lane Kiffin's reluctance on the dais today to call it a salary cap.
Yep.
And that's what we're talking about. We have general managers now. We have player personnel directors in college football. Yep. All these terms, it used to be for professional football. And we were scared to go there in college because it was just, books, tuition, and play for good old state union.
Right.
Yeah. And it was never that.
Yeah. But, under the guise of that made people feel good, didn't it?
Yeah, we all kind of lied to ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. All right, now, Greg Sankey also spoke on, and I'm sure we'll have a nice, fun discussion about this, but he also spoke on when Oklahoma and Texas will join the conference. This is what Greg Sankey said about that.
That's about the relationship between Oklahoma, Texas, and the Big 12. We are focused on the addition being effective July 1st, 2025.
He almost has to say that.
I know he has to from a legal perspective.
I don't think he believes it.
Okay. The tone tells me hey, I know more, and I'm negotiating trying to get them out early.
And if I misspeak, we got a big lawsuit.
The tone tells me that. The words tell me 2025, but I still think 2024 is a very real possibility.
Maybe 23.
I guess.
Usually they let that schedule for the next season, like for this year, the 23 season, they let that fly usually in September. If we don't get it in September, we're going to start watching the days go by. And then if we don't get it in October, then he does. No.
Yeah. But you're right. He has to say that. He absolutely has to say that. Now, he also, speaking of scheduling, you just brought up scheduling, and there's been a lot of back and forth about 9 versus 8, how the 9 versus 8 would look. Greg Sankey was asked this question about scheduling, and this is what he said.
The list of issues, so tiebreakers one, the number of games and what that means from a scheduling standpoint, the imbalance around 9 games versus the comfort with 8 games. What happens with non-conference schedules, and we have a requirement that 9th game right now be among an Autonomy 5 type opponent. How do we dispose of or maintain that particular policy? The impact on bowl eligibility and college football playoff access, I mentioned. When I go through 6 different teams having won national championships in the last 25 years or so, no one comes close to that number. So the level of competition here, while people want to be a part of it, we're attentive and sensitive to that. Just to be clear, nobody from TV is saying do this or do that. This is a conversation and a decision to be made among our conference membership.
That's that pronounced confidence I was talking about. The 6 SEC schools. No one comes close to that. 6 SEC schools since 1998 have won national championships.
Gabe, it's so ridiculous. Sometimes I scroll through Twitter or hear comments from people. National talk shows do this. It's just Alabama. It's just Alabama. No, it's been another Alabama dynasty in this run, but it's 6. And it's 6 out of what once was the 12. Not only is it 6 out of once was the 12, it's 6 out of what once was the 10.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because it hadn't been Arkansas, South Carolina, Missouri, A&M doing it.
I get it.
And we really never expected Vanderbilt, so you're really talking 6 out of 9.
You're talking about the powers.
One of those 3 teams, Mississippi State, 5 weeks at number 1 in the fall of 2014. Ole Miss had been to the New Year's 6 rotations 3 times since it's been drawn up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, he's gotten it done. In Kentucky, and at Kentucky, he's getting ready to finally be a Kentucky coach to pass Paul Bear-Bryant there as all-time winningest coach.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just all Alabama.
No, but it's
a lot of Alabama.
Yes, it is. Yes, we have to admit that. Now, as far as scheduling is concerned, 9, I think it's the 3-6 model. 8 is the 5-3 or what is it? It's basically 6-1. You play everybody else and then one rotating opponent.
We don't go these long stretches without ever seeing them. I mean, it's just too – last year for that great atmosphere, not just because Ole Miss won. It was great atmosphere regardless. But Ole Miss did win. But to be at Tennessee, first time for Ole Miss to play Tennessee, and they used to be heated rivals. First time to play up there since 2010.
Yeah, and 6-2, by the way, is the 8 game. Do you have a preference? 8, 9?
I want 9.
9.
I want more. I thought it meant more.
Yeah. And
if it does, let's play.
It seemed like Greg Sankey was trying to express a little bit of concern about cutting out a non-conference game. Does that matter? Not really.
I think it matters to cut out the FCS. It does.
Well, no, yeah, you're paying, but also, I think that's the only people this affects, right?
Yeah.
Because you're paying those are bye games.
Yeah.
But everybody else, if you're a Power 5 program, if you're a Group of 5 program, I guess if you're a Group of 5 program, you want a shot at some SEC schools. So it could affect you there. You could get one of the other 3 out of conference games. But yeah, I think 9 games is where we're going to have to head. You're going to have 16 teams here by 2025 is what you say. You have to make that decision. You have to start talking about it and getting it into action right this second. Let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's the Make This the Summer event, and it's going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. And we're ready and waiting to put you in a new ride today. Can't find the vehicle you've been dreaming about? No worries, Gossett has the solution. Stop the searching. Get to Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat, and we'll order your perfect vehicle just for you at no extra charge. Your color, your extras, your perfect vehicle. Gossett will and can order that vehicle just for you. Won't take long, won't break the bank, won't make you wait for hours. It's easy as 1, 2, 3, and you won't be paying for market adjustments or added costs you can't even figure out. You will not pay more than MSRP for your new Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, or Fiat. So get to Gossett today and let us put you in the ride of your dreams. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat, or shop online GossettMotorcars.net. All pricing includes all rebates and incentives, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/1/2022. Dealer stock only.
Are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck? Do you have nightmares about your finances? Are you struggling to save for emergencies? Are you wanting to buy a home and not sure how to get the funds to do so? Well, it's time to get a handle on your finances with a personalized session with Nicasia, your money coach and certified personal financial counselor with Tate Enterprise. She is available to help you create your vision of financial freedom. It all starts by booking your session today at NicasiaTate.com. That's NAKASIA Tate.com.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Now that the warmer weather has arrived, let Choate's perform their $99 20-point AC tune-up to get your AC ready for the hot summer months ahead. Also, Choate's is offering our half-off 1 pound of Freon coupon on our website for you to use. Does your HVAC system need to be replaced? If so, right now is an excellent time to take advantage of Carrier's 60 months, no-interest financing on select systems. Want to improve your indoor air quality? Choate's is also offering our new ABCO air purifier for $100 off when you get your air ducts cleaned. UV technology sterilizes biological contaminants and neutralizes odors and toxic VOCs. Match that technology with getting your air ducts cleaned, and you'll have the indoor air quality your family needs. Better call 347-8086 today. These specials won't last long. Turn to the experts with Choate's and let our family serve your family.
In the alley since 1948, the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see everything kind of getting back to normal.
Brett, we've done a lot of ads before, but maybe it's time for me to do a recap. We have valet parking at the end of our alley on Monroe. On Fridays and Saturdays, we give away our wonderful red beans and rice until it runs out. And you know we like to do things local. Miss Barbara Jackson of O Taste and See has been making these wonderful chess and pecan pies, that's pecan, not pecan, and key lime pies for dessert. And we just started serving this wonderful gelato from Sweet Magnolia Gelato Company. And just to remind everybody, you don't eat cheese and sausage with a knife and fork. You take a cracker, you put sausage on it, you put a piece of cheese on it, a little mustard or a little sauce, take a bite and chase it with the pickle. Brett, we've always been the place for all gatherings, whether they're corporate, rehearsal dinners, retirement parties, birthday parties, whatever. We seat anywhere from 20 people to 250 people. And oh, by the way, we are now open for lunch from 11 o'clock on Tuesday through Saturday. Come see us at the Rendezvous.
It's time to vacation at home with Family Leisure. That's right. Enjoy a vacation in your own backyard with a little help from Family Leisure. Like play gyms and trampolines, they're now $500 off. And those trampolines, by the way, they've got that mesh on the side, so trampolines are now safe, and you'll be the hit of the neighborhood. They've got hot tubs in stock and ready to go, and you can get up to $1,000 off when you pick them up. All kinds of do-it-yourself pool specials, like savings of up to $1,500 on all in-stock pools when you pick it up and install them yourself. And if you're looking for patio furniture, then stop on in, because they have tons in stock and they're ready for you to pick up. So get ready for that vacation at home with the help from Family Leisure. Family Leisure's Vacation at Home sale. It's happening right now at Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun truly do come together.
When I was in Iraq, our convoy was hit. It was bad. After I came home, I could still hear booms and see tracer fire. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
With help from DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
DAV provides a lifetime of support to veterans of every generation, helping more than 1 million veterans each year.
Today I'm part of DAV. We're veterans helping veterans to get the benefits they've earned. And I give my veterans my all.
But there's more to be done and more victories to be won.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Naomi Mathis, thank you for your service. May your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Hi, I'm news correspondent Bob Woodruff. In 2006, a roadside bomb struck the armored vehicle I was riding in while reporting from Iraq. I sustained a life-threatening traumatic brain injury. The military term "got your six" means I have your back, and that day our service members had mine. During my recovery, I learned firsthand the challenges facing our service members who return home with injuries. While serving, their fellow service members always had their six. Now that they're home, it is our turn. We started the Bob Woodruff Foundation to make sure that the camaraderie and support they relied on in the military carries on, and we need you. Please join us as part of the Got Your Six initiative and help us be there for impacted veteran service members and their families. They've had our backs. It's time we have theirs. Learn more at gotyoursix.org. That's gotyoursix.org, using the number 6.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
I couldn't believe it either, but that thing runs like new.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
My nail tech knows how to keep it a little secret. I don't wish for my success, I speak it. I caught a buzz and you did too, but you tweaking. I look like I've been getting money, how reeking. You smell me, that's LV.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Brett, what I learned today is that, according to a Chris Haynes article on Yahoo Sports, apparently LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Anthony Davis are all working through their issues this offseason, working through all the distractions. We know Westbrook's name's been mentioned in a lot of these different trade discussions, whether it's the Nets for Kyrie Irving, yada, yada, yada. But they all apparently had a players-only meeting, a discussion on the phone, and they have hashed out their differences.
What's the new coach of the Lakers think of this?
Good old Darvin.
Where's Darvin Ham fit in all this?
Who knows? Who knows?
Shouldn't he have a little bit of input? It's his team, isn't it? Or is it LeBron's
He
team?
should. He should. But we know what LeBron, the pull he has.
And I think the Lakers, if they stay healthy, will be right in the mix next year. But I don't think it's a championship team.
I like that if they stay healthy.
And they're not.
If Anthony Davis, my gosh. I mean, I don't think we've gone through a single year in his career where he's been healthy.
We learned today, I think our audience heard it today, one of the more prominent voices in all of football with her work both in the NFL and college football, mostly with the SEC, that's Laura Rutledge, and she has just crushed it. When you watch her and you listen to her, you know she knows that sport, and she's plugged in. She's the on-air chemistry really tight with Marcus Spears and others. How she gets along with Paul Feinbaum, that historically some haven't, but she does. She's got it, and it was fun to visit with her. And I would suggest to people, if you didn't catch it all, you'd like to hear it again, please go to our website.
And I know you mentioned it. Shout out, and it'll be on featured audio. I know you mentioned it. Shout out to her work on SEC Network and all she does in hosting there. NFL Live, is so great. It's honestly, as far as a TV show is concerned around the NFL, I mean, they have really cornered the market on it, and they do a great job with it. What I could have done without is the Live Tour is attracting talent from the media.
I was afraid it would as soon as the Open Championship ended.
David Faraday has been with NBC since 2015. He has now he has now been reported to be he's going to join Live Golf Tour. He's going to join the Live Golf Invitational Series, and we're going to see what happens there. 8 to 10 tournaments annually, but they have taken these steps, step after step, is leading to more legitimacy, believe it or not. And also, I don't know if you saw this last week, but Charles Barkley said on the Next Round podcast that he's agreed to meet with Liv about an unspecified media role with the tour. So if they get
Liv making it rain. When do we get offer?
If they get, I don't know, but if they get Chuck, that's going to be a very bizarre day.
If it's anything close to the Tiger Woods deal, you can drop a couple of zeros and I'll be interested.
Right.
But money talks, and we know that. Now I want to see David Faraday's quotes about it, and when he makes the formal announcement, please don't give me any garbage about growing the game. Just say I'm taking the cash. And we'll all understand that, won't we?
Yeah.
We're all big boys and girls. I could do without this. I don't want anything to do with 2 24-team college football conferences. Because then that brings it down to SEC, AFC, NFC, and the Big Ten. I don't want that for football. I want difference. I want more conferences. I want more teams, even with the false notion they might be in the mix.
I'm still hopeful that cooler heads prevail, and we decide that we want to uphold at least we want. I hope at the end of the day, there's a decision with the talking heads in college football, with the people that make decisions, that we want to make it look at least somewhat traditional. We want to make it at least stay in the ballpark of what we've seen our entire lives.
Gabe, I don't mind lying to myself. I just had the fanciful notion of Liv dropping a couple zeros and calling me. I'll tell
Your phone's ringing right now.
Oh,
unknown number.
No, it's my car warranty.
Yeah, I got you. What we're looking forward to tonight, Home Run Derby. How do you think Albert does?
I don't think great.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't get hurt, but I know he'll have a great reception out there. Also, looking forward to tomorrow night when Clayton Kershaw will toe the rubber as the starting pitcher for the National League.
You got what you wanted, didn't you?
Shane McClanahan.
Shane McClanahan's been a dude this year, though.
Why didn't Shohei start him? Didn't he? Brian, help me. Last time Shohei went out was last Wednesday. He hadn't pitched since then, has he?
I don't believe so, no.
Why is he not the American League starter? That's what we want to see, Bobby Manfred.
They did it just to bother you, Brad. I'm convinced.
They did.
Yeah.
Of course.
But they only got half of your request just so you thought you tiptoed that way, and then they pulled the rug out.
About baseball proclamation.
Well, you butchered that like months ago. Bryant, come on. It was months ago. Right, Bryant? Come on. Agree with me for once. Yeah, thank you, Bryant. Yes.
And thank you, Bryant, for a great job today.
Yes, fantastic job. In the Family Leisure Studios. But that's all we have for today. We thank you for joining us. We thank Dave Matter, Laura Rutledge, David Cobb, T-Bob Hebert, Richard Cross for their contributions to the show. Tomorrow we're going to have the head honcho. We're going to have the commission on Greg Sankey at 4:30. You're not going to want to miss that. And we're going to cover Bama, Vandy, State, South Carolina, because it's their turn to get to the podium and speak tomorrow. But until then, for Brett, for Brian, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night and be safe. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
How do you grow your business without spending more on credit card fees? Call Blake Jones, your local Mid-South Advanced Merchant Services representative. He works with your business to help it grow instantly. Small business owners already have enough cost. Let Blake Jones help you lower your credit card processing cost risk-free. Absolutely no cost to you, the small business owner. Call 662-408-9324. That's 662-408-9324. Call Blake Jones today and start saving money tomorrow.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. Have you been turned down by your homeowner's insurance in the past 12 months for damage you believe you're owed? Call Brian Elder Roofing now. Our professionals will do a no-obligation, thorough evaluation of your property and document all damage we find. Our fully certified Hague inspectors are trained to identify storm damage to assess and build a full estimate in a language your carrier will understand. If there is no damage found, we will tell you just that. We build a data file of your actual storm damage for your carrier, all at no